Hello! Pika Pika Pee! Yes, Lady Rain, you are first. Welcome to the stream. And hi, Snappy! Welcome to the stream as well. You want pizza? Oh, pizza. Pizza smells good. Pizza smells really good, but I am here to stream, and I think one of my farms actually on Stardew says, what is your favorite food? And I put pizza on that one, pepperoni. That sounds good. I did have pizza this week. It was good, and it did have pepperonis. So I hope you get some pepperoni pizza soon. Oh, look, Lady Rain started up Stardew. Oh, my. Yes, I'll be streaming Stardew today with the girls. And as you can see, I filmed the last Jude stream. I am Kimonochu today, so we're on track. If you want to see the status of all the donations, if you're just curious, you don't have to donate. Even $2 counts, though. Remember, guys. Also, retweeting, anything like that helps. You can support non-monetary ways as well. So I appreciate you guys just being here and lurking and listening. But yeah, last stream we redeemed Kimonochu outfit, and the next one is a 10-minute drawing, and there'll be a poll for what that drawing is because I have no idea. And then it looks like there's a dance party coming up. Oh, and then if we make it to 8:25, I will be playing Power Wash Simulator. But yeah, if you click on that link, you'll see all the milestone markers that we worked together as a stream. Also, right above my stream image on that link, you'll see a rewards list. So like if an individual donation, want to like give a sticker or help pay for something directly for the kids, that kind of thing, you can pick what you would like to go to. Again, we're raising money for St. Jude's Children Research Hospital. I don't think I said that up front. So if you're new to my stream and lurking and listening, that's what we're doing. But mostly we're here. It's Sunday. We're just gonna have a chill stream. We're gonna hang out, play some Stardew, do what I love best, and just relax and talk to you guys. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Oh look, a Pokemon appeared. Let's catch. There we go. We'll see if I catch the Pokemon. Alright, now I will go grab the Lady Rain, and we will go out and go into stream our game hosting room first. Breathe. Sometimes I forget to breathe. I get on here and I just go blah 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 blah. It's important to breathe. Oh, let me shut my door too, because I'm sure the sound is I forget to shut my studio door sometimes, and the air conditioning sound like roars in the background. So I'm sure now that I did all that spill, I'm sure it sounds much better. Alright, let me grab Lady Rain, who's patiently waiting. Momo! Thank you so much! Thank you. Thank you so much, Momo! Thank you. Well, let's see if I can find my buttons. Hi. How are you? Oh my god! I am good and better now that you are here. Hi, Lady Rain. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. We are live. Can I hear you though? That's the real question.
I had it muted.
Okay, there she is. Glad you're well.
I also had to change my sensitivity because for whatever reason, even if I'm sitting here not talking, it picks up Dalton in the other room.
Oh no. Oh, Mama's gonna be joining us shortly. Yay. So
yeah, right now she's being lame and playing Dead by Daylight.
Oh my god, if I had $1 for the hours that Momo played that, I bet.
I know.
I wonder how many hours Momo has in that game.
Wow.
That thing was such a hot thing to stream for a while, and like everybody was streaming it, and I'm sure she did a lot as well.
She has well over the amount of hours that I have in Stardew. But
For dead.
if you combine Stardew and Baldur's Gate, she still has less hours than I do in both of those
Okay.
games.
But still, that's 2 games.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure that's not her
majority.
max game either, though. I'm sure she has games that she has more hours too.
I don't know. Let me see.
I have my.
I'll look at her profile.
I'm trying to remember what game she used to play all the time. I don't think it's gonna be on Steam. There's a game
Dead
she
by
played.
Daylight is her
all the
highest
time.
played on Steam.
It wasn't Overwatch. What was it? It was a different game.
Quake.
She used to play. Maybe. She played it all the time and she was so good at it.
Quake is her second highest.
Hi, Matthew. Thank you for the lurk, man. Thank you. Say
I'm just over
ninja
here
emo.
stalking Momo's profile.
Like sneak. I like it. Sneak. You're stalking Momo's. Yeah. Mine is lame. It's mostly Stardew and Cookie Clicker.
Yeah.
I'm a busy person. It's sad. I don't get enough video game time. Alright. I think I've talked people's ears off, although that's what I'm here to do. Yeah. So, I don't know what you guys had for dinner today. I had a hamburger.
Mono, do you want to know the hours you have in Cookie Clicker?
Yeah. Is it 2,000 yet?
Bitch! It is almost 5,000 hours. You're at 4,841 hours.
Well, I do like me some cookies. Oh, I did buy cookies I can try on stream.
Ooh.
I bought the UK cookies, the digestives or whatever they're called.
Oh, yeah, the ones that Jay recommended.
Yeah, and also another friend recommended, but then I found out not to get the dark chocolate ones, and that's the ones I got.
Oh, right.
We'll be trying the dark chocolate ones, because there's no ones I got. But we can try those later.
Bye.
Hi, artist!
Oh, time to end stream.
Yes, time to run away. Unless she's joining our game. That is the exception to the rule.
That would be
Either
nice.
quit stream and run away, or she's joining.
She's not in school anymore. Miss Graduate over here.
She's not in school, but I'm sure she has 500 extracurricular activities to catch up on, because she's amazing and awesome and knows how to do those things, whereas I'm lame and stay home most of the time.
Right.
I need to get out of the house more and be like artists.
It's gonna be really fun in 2 weeks when your birthday rolls around. Because I'm gonna have to moderate your stream from my friend's place.
Oh!
We're doing our non-D&D hangout.
On that Friday? Yup, remote monitoring would be interesting. You might have to give the other mods a heads up, say, hey, need somebody else on duty this day.
Well, they just got their heads up, so.
Yeah.
They're not watching the
not listening.
They're not listening, they're not watching the VOD.
We'll harass Crisis. I'm sure Styx will be there and Shane will be there, but we'll harass the peeps.
I already mentioned I was going to be bringing my laptop.
Come play Pokemon Go. I'm not joining. I'm cleaning. Come play Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go.
Oh, it is a community day, isn't it?
Is it? I totally missed it. How did I miss that it was a community day? What the heck? Shane will be where? I don't know. Friday night, you might be lurking on my stream. We're recruiting people for my birthday stream to like hang out.
Because I'm gonna be elsewhere. I'm not gonna be home.
Yeah, mods to hang out because Lady Rain's a slacker and gonna be remote and may not have the best concentration or focus or internet or any of the above. You've been live for 13 minutes. Been what? Live?
Like ending. Oh.
Live ending? I'm so confused.
No, remember how we said that we were gonna end stream because she showed up?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we failed at ending stream. I couldn't find the button.
Yeah,
I couldn't find the button
I had
to end stream.
allow her to speak because Automod's like, no, you can't use that word. It didn't like Bish.
We were talking about, like, when I stream on the 31st, most likely you will be present, Shane, just because you're always here, whether you're lurking or not. And then 6 will probably be here lurking.
Better be.
Oh, I wonder what day it was his surgery. I should probably check on him.
Oh, yeah.
See if he's okay. And then, and 6 will probably be here. I was like, Lady Rain will not be actively in chat. Probably as
Not
much.
as much as I want to.
Or that, or she'll feel bad and be more active in chat because she can't play games with me.
I probably will. I'll definitely be lurking at the minimum.
Alright.
Bound Sweet is the Pokemon for the day. For the community. That's the final one, Shane. So whoever has the highest donation for St. Jude will get the painting by the end of the month.
Yes. It'll be declared on that day. That'll be the last day. What are you gonna stream? I haven't decided. It's just up in the air. It just might be me eating cake. I don't know. Just kidding.
Your birthday cake?
Yes. I don't know. Mukbang stream.
Monty,
can she eat the whole cake?
Monty.
Just kidding. I tease about that all the time. Doing a mukbang stream, and I have yet to do one. Okay, now I blame artist. I am playing Pokemon Go. I'm sitting here playing Stardew. So yeah, maybe I'll get one shiny if I'm lucky while we're live. I doubt it.
I have not caught a shiny yet.
Oh, I forgot. I got my auto catchy thingamajig I can turn on. And put on. Oh, I forgot to put on my lure. Dang it! So none of these are gonna be shiny because they're never shiny without a lure. Let's be real.
I've never had any issues getting shinies without a lure.
I do. I have to use the incense or whatever, yeah, to get a shiny because it just won't happen. That and they just won't appear. Oh
yeah, where I'm at, they don't appear for me. So
yeah, exactly. When I'm sitting here at my desk, they're never gonna show up if I don't use an incense. And I probably should give it a good restart since I added one. But yeah. You've been playing for an hour. Oh geez. I'm not even sure what time it started today. I guess 2, so an hour.
Yeah.
Did it start at 2 or did it start at 1?
I'm pretty sure it's usually 2 local time, so.
Yeah.
Hey, get down from there.
Play some Scarlet and Violet. So you want to torture me on my birthday? That's what it sounds like.
Hell yeah.
He wants to torture me on my birthday. And yell at me for all the things that I don't remember how to do. And all the Pokemon names I don't know. I do raids again, and I don't know any of the details of how to do them, or Pokemon Go, or any of that. Yeah, you have to have local communities mostly to do them with, or somebody in a local community that can invite you to their raids. You have to communicate with people. Yeah. Communication. Ugh. Alright, we're gonna clear all this stuff. And then I'm gonna reopen Pokemon Go, and I'm gonna set up this handy dandy thing. It came with Pokemon Sleep. This is perfect. I'm wearing Pikachu outfit, and I'm gonna catch Pokemon while I play Stardew. We should have just made a Pokemon Go stream. I need a tutorial. We have them start with a monster, but most of them are like 4 or 5 and those symbols, and I know I can't do those by myself. Yeah, you have to do, only ones you can do by yourself usually is like 3 or 4 if you're really high. No torture here. You're normally too busy to play it, but you say you like Pokemon, so you say you should try to enjoy your birthday, and I can always host streams. Oh, you're talking about on the Switch, yeah. I think she's talking about in Go, but she may be talking about in both.
What? Oh yeah,
Shane's
Go.
talking about raids on the Switch, and
Yeah,
I think she's talking
Artist
about raids and
is
Go.
talking about.
There's a gem 20 feet from me. Go get it, artist. Go get it. As long as it's under, as long as it's like 3-star and under. Unless
Yeah.
you're like level 40, then you can definitely do a 4. Well, it used to be on 4-star.
Yeah, that's
on
on
the
the
4
right,
stars.
that it's a church. Most of the churches
4
are.
stars are like a little bit harder than they used to be. Oh, don't tell me it's dead. I think it's dead.
You killed it.
I'm gonna have to
Just
charge it.
sitting.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge it over here, up here.
Yeah.
Plug it in.
What color did you choose, Artist? Color are you?
There's not a raid, but going right now, but it's my team color. Oh, so you can drop yourself in the gym and get some coins.
It's yellow, isn't it?
Come on. It's so
No?
dead.
The blue?
It won't even let me attach yet. I gotta let it charge a second. I'm sad. I want to catch these Pokemons.
Also, why are we not Go friends, Artist? I think that's rude.
How are you guys not Go friends?
You know what? That's amazing to me because we've hung out in person twice.
You're ready to judge me. Nope. I did blue because it was closest to green. Oh, I'm blue as well.
I'm red. I like red. That's why I chose it. Dalton's blue as well.
Let's see.
Ooh,
Snorlax, do you have it? Well, I don't know. Do I have it? Is it going to tell me?
I have it.
Oh, it's actually going to tell me today. There. So yeah, if you guys are joining for Stardew, I haven't started yet because I'm a slacker.
Yeah.
And I'm catching Bonsweet Berry Pokemon, Pokemon Go. And I forgot to use the little pineapples so I get all the extra candies because I'm
Doesn't bother me at all.
Being slow about that. I need those so I can evolve them.
Hello, Mama.
Hi, Mama. Welcome. Oh gosh. Let's see. Claim rewards. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, that's one of those Dragon Boys.
What are you claiming?
Jangmo.
What?
Plan.
Oh. Pokemon Go.
Yeah. It's Artist's fault. She reminded me that it's community day and I'm not out there walking and catching Pokemon like I normally would be. I'm here streaming instead.
What?
I haven't
oh my god. Artist. Yes, I want to be friends, Artist.
Snorlax! Don't believe me. Yeah, sheesh. It's all fun. All fun and games. Oh, come on. Why are you not working sleep? Pokemon sleep, you should be charged by now.
Always with the self-love. No one
Is it
wants
just
to hug
that
me.
dead?
Done
It must just be that dead. How dead can it be? Usually if you plug it in, it would just start working. I murdered it.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Hold on. I lied. I used the wrong one. There we go. I'll just do what you sent me. Thank you. I know how to use things, I swear.
Yay! Reading all the messages. Guys. Thank you for all the retweets, guys. Thank you. Much appreciated. And my phone's probably gonna plug it in. I have two things going on here.
I get to catch a scatterbug. Yay. My gift.
Scatterbug.
Wait.
You gotta get all the butterflies. Or moths or
Yeah,
whatever they.
except I don't have enough candy.
Gosh, I thought Crisis was here for a hot second because the goat scream. Oh.
I done added you, Arna.
I thought I wouldn't be able to do it, but apparently I am.
I done sent you the friend request.
I changed a lot of those settings. I added a lot of the regular the mod sounds to the subscriber sounds.
Mm.
Oh,
I only
let's
have
see.
9
Wrong
more
button, sorry.
Pokemon for.
I
Yeah.
wanted to press this, but I misclicked.
Misclicked.
Wait, I'm gonna show you on Snap. I'm gonna show you on Snap.
I only need 9 more Pikachus for
Nice.
an outfit, or at least the pants and the shoes.
Cool. I have too much going on. Give me a second. Oh, sheesh.
No!
She needs a minute.
Oh, she didn't get one.
So, yeah. I have not got a shiny yet. I'm not gonna get a shiny today. I might get one. Sitting here on my butt, it's gonna be hard.
Thank you, friends. I forgot I had a couple quests to make new friends, and I just had one sitting like I needed to make 3 new friends, and I didn't have the third.
So that helps. Nice.
No, how rude. Don't add me.
And
Thank you for not blending it into reality.
I only have one
I'm gonna have to
instance.
show this to you. It's kind of funny. Took a picture of it.
Dun, ta-da.
I gotta.
Cats.
I gotta be friends with my little pan.
Fun fact, I'm close enough to a Pokestop. I don't have to leave my bed to spend. Oh my god, you're so
Are you
lucky.
all like in a
Rude.
team together?
No, we just added each other.
Mm.
You have to be like so close to each other to actually be part of like a party. It's so stupid.
Oh, really?
Well,
Yeah.
and now they have the new feature with the apps where you can communicate with other Go players with the Pokemon app thing now.
What?
I forgot about that.
Thanks. Alright, Pancham is now hanging out with me. Fine.
So what about
Okay.
Stardew?
It's still on the start screen.
I know. I'm like sitting here waiting to join Stardew because
I
she
was
hasn't
gonna
started the
start
farm.
as soon as this dang Pokeball says it's charged enough to start up an auto catch for me.
I'm gonna share this funny photo
It won't
of
start
Pancham
up.
because it looks like my Pancham standing on my like within the screen but also out of the screen. I just sent it to you guys on Snap.
I hope it's not dead.
Did it actually show?
It's flashing red or orange, so
It's fucking stupid.
it's finally lighting. There it goes.
Oh, look at it. It's so pretty. Artist.
No, don't go to sleep.
It's
Can you
so
hear this?
cool.
Pikachu's going to sleep.
I'm trying to evolve my Pancham, so that's why it's my buddy. Normally I have that Freon. He's a Lake Man Freon. Is it still trying to go to sleep?
It's finally responding and doing something, so that's good. It was just that dead.
I do still want the, like, let's go.
I'm gonna grab
Pokeball.
something to drink if we're not playing it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go grab a drink.
We are back.
Actually need to grab one myself. I still really want the Go Pokeball so I can get my Mew.
Finally!
I heard it.
Pikachu!
Pika Pika.
It finally has got enough charge that it can connect. Now I'm gonna hear like this noise up there going every time it's trying to catch something.
I'm not dropping things, it's fine.
Now that everybody stepped away for a drink, I'm finally connected.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I stepped away for
I
a
don't know
drink
how
and-
many will actually spawn sitting still though, sadly, but we'll see. Oh, hollow drink water, thank you.
Get the crap out of puddles. I grabbed my gelato too.
Hey, send me a picture of your funny buddy. Okay. Gelato? Are we eating ice cream and playing Stardew? Is that what's happening?
I'm eating ice cream and playing Stardew.
Salted cookie? I have salted caramel something, how do you say it? The gelato, the Taliente or whatever?
Oh, the Talenti?
Talenti, yeah,
I guess,
that's
we always have the gelato boy on sale at work, and we don't actually have a huge selection of Talenti. So
We
I go
do,
with the gelato boy.
we do, and it's buy one get one free right now.
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
Well, you also don't have a Sprouts.
Yeah, we had a huge selection. Let's see. Thank you, Shane, for the retweet. Thank you. Okay,
Walmart
let's
has
go over
a
here to
pretty
see.
decent selection of
Crowley!
Talenti, but
Welcome.
I love gelato boy.
Talenti is good, but it is pricey. Yes, that's why I only like get it when it's buy one get one. That's so cool.
And like
artist.
gelato boy is like $8.99 for like the size, but we always have it on sale for like $5 or $6, so I always get it. Hello, Crowley.
Yeah.
Us.
Aww, that's so cute. I forgot I'll have to do screenshots so they, or take photos so they pop up. Pokemons.
Oh, you weren't here, Mono. Because you went to bed early.
Just got home from work. Don't mind the trash. I'll take it out soon. No worries. Come on up.
I cleaned my background.
Oh, you've been busy.
Don't mind that bag. That's my bag of bags that we took to Walmart today.
Oh. You have been busy cleaning up.
I did that in like 2.5 hours.
Apparently I'm catching a Pokemon. The charging cable is so short. It's like sitting on top of my computer and it vibrated and scared me. I wonder if I can let it hang. Oh yeah, okay. I think I can let it hang. It's like dangling now, so it won't like startle me to death when I catch a Pokemon or try to catch a Pokemon.
Okay.
Usually vibration isn't scary. It can make you scream. Why isn't it scary? I blame artists. Again, she's getting all the blame today.
Fair, it's because she's not gonna play with us.
Oh. No, it's just really loud on top of my computer case. The Pokeball just went, and I'm like, oh god, that just scared me to death. See? Oh, yeah. Let's go. And then, no shiny yet. I'm so sad. I'm not shiny.
I get to have other places to my postcard book.
Oh yeah. Eventually, they make you expand your postcard bag or delete cards, and it makes me sad.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to delete them. And you have to do the postcard thing in order to get the different variations of Scatterbug.
Or well,
Woo!
the evolution
Pikachu!
types.
Yeah.
Also, artist, why is your hair red, not green?
Oh,
That's very inaccurate.
red hair?
Yeah,
Maybe
her
there's
hair's
gonna
not
be
green
a
in
change.
Go.
Oh.
Artist changing our hair from green. I doubt it.
Okay. Back to
Well, you need to change it to green. Mine's purple, but that's just.
You're special.
You don't have to. No.
Again! I'm sitting here just
For hair
responding
color,
to
you
your
don't.
message about it as well. I think now you have to buy it. Oh.
I don't think for hair you do. No, you don't have to pay for hair color.
Okay. Alright. Pokemon, do your thing. Get me a shiny, please. Instead it goes, GPS signal not found. God. Don't make me restart the game, please.
Why you saving all the snaps? All the snaps, right?
Oh no. I know what it is. I don't like their greets. Oh, how are
Yeah,
you?
they
I'm
aren't
doing
dark
good,
enough.
thank you. We're supposed to be playing Stardew, but somehow we started playing Pokemon Go. Because apparently it's community hour or hours, community day thing. And yeah. And now I'm just locked up, so I gotta quit it and restart it and reconnect the device. I have no idea how that happened.
Is I live in between two Pokestops, but I don't live close enough to either one of them to be able to swipe them.
You.
Are we gonna play Stardew?
Yes,
Not
we are.
playing Pokemon.
Yeah, we're just
No,
both
'cause-
factory.
Yeah, because I can't.
I don't even have any more space on my telephone for an app.
Oh, okay.
No, I got my Pokeball hooked up, and hopefully it will catch me a shiny when we play Stardew, all on its own.
Catch.
We'll just let it go, and I'll check it when I go on breaks. But okay, let's go.
Ooh, and 39 out of 40 in a row, Mono. I have yet to miss a stream.
39 out of 40?
Yeah, so my
Dang.
next one's gonna be a 40 stream.
I stream a lot, apparently.
No, I just haven't missed a stream.
I know. Which is why you're gonna check in from your friend's house that Friday. No one see my struggle. Please choose a valid Pokemon or Pokédex ID. What are you trying to do? Catch Great Ball? Pokemon catch Great Ball.
You got it, Mono.
Yay! I got it.
Alright.
We're gonna switch screens
There,
after I
there,
get
it's
past
gone.
which farm are we?
No one has to see
Oh, this one. Okay.
artist.
Meadowland.
Yeah, I think it's Meowland.
Meowland. Here we go to Meowland. You timed out? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so no one saw it.
50 of these berries.
Waiting for the host's event to finish.
What did they post? Oh, the shenanigans. I can still see it.
The struggle. Yeah, I see it too.
Oh!
I can see the messages, but
So here we are. I wake up in Lady Rain's house in her bed. Come on, Pokeball. Catch my Pokemon. It failed. Ah. This
Cool
is
down.
not my house.
Cool down, artist.
Sorry, I am
Splash.
super deaf.
You guys notice?
My screen look good. Ooh, what is that? Coconut juice?
Yum. With bits
Oh.
of coconut in it.
What?
Now it's empty.
Roar.
Ew.
Safe place. Okay.
Wait, why is
back
lemon
here.
taken?
Huh?
Why was lemon taken?
It's because it's not our character.
Oh.
What?
Oh shit.
What do you mean another character?
Lemon
Lemon's
was
character?
grayed out for me. Good humor for spirits, finally!
There's
What
so
were we
many
doing?
freaking eggs in here. I have no earthly idea. I'll have to get my notepad out in a minute. One thing at a
I'd be
time,
smart
Mama.
before we do a whole day and think like, oh shit, we were gonna do this and this.
I just wanted to feed the chickens. But yeah, I need to get my notebook out and see where we're at. Honestly, I think we're probably gathering stuff. I think we just expanded the house, didn't we? Or was that the other save?
Robin is working on it at the moment, yeah.
Okay. So we are on the pink farm. Hoping to make kegs, but we need periwinkles.
Yep.
But
and
no,
we're waiting on a
periwinkles were-
rabbit's foot.
No, but we need it for something else.
Oh, what do we need?
Yeah,
for
there's
it?
something else we craft that we need it from. We visited Crowbits in the sewer because we have a key. We're supposed to
Right.
migrate the Nautilus to the community center. I think it's in the Dropbox. But as far as everything, I think we've got big coops both ways, and
I have 3 Nautilus shells in my inventory.
I think we're pretty open to what we do get next.
Oh! Is that a vent over? Or was it the other one?
Oh, there's
I
the
got
loom.
an ancient doll.
I need to move this somewhere where I can actually get to it.
I'm gonna open up all the things now because we have good humor.
Okay.
So we only need to collect 10 more eggs so we can put them in Gus's fridge.
I mean, we could probably start making iron fences.
6
too,
iridium
because-
ore. Nice.
So if you guys like
Calamite.
go in the mines a lot, we can get some stuff to make iron fences. And I could stop having to craft wooden fences that do read.
Speckled mineral? The fuck's that?
Interesting. We are keeping all the eggs, right? Because we shouldn't sell them or make them into mayo because we need to put 24 into Gus's fridge.
Oh, do we? I didn't know that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 24 in Augustus' fridge. I will put them all right here in this chest as I get them then, moving forward. I put a bunch of them in there. And there's a couple of Nautiluses in there, but I guess we don't need it anymore for the community center. It looks like we already did that. And then... Roar. Egg. Rigged. What are you rigging?
Oh,
That's all the things. Cause people and stuff. Hacks. No shinies. Yeah, I agree. That part's rigged. I gotta make sure I got room for shinies too. If one popped up and I didn't catch it because my box was full, I would be very upset. There.
Up, Frenzy.
Shot Frenzy for rain!
Oh, we get a crystal. If you go to the museum, you get a crystal chair.
Nice. Oh, that's right. I finished making sprinklers for everything.
I forgot where
right
it said
now,
where.
but I didn't know where. Dang it. I did not read that very well.
And look at the calendar.
Inventory left. Oh. No.
Oh, squid. Okay.
Pick it up. Girl.
That's the
She don't
Chub
wanna pick it
Fest.
up.
So the Squid Festival is taking place down here.
Oh, that's right. There's a festival in there.
The Squid Fest. I can live without the Chub Frenzy. I'll catch me some squids.
Mm. I need more storage for Pokemon and items. I have so much stuff. I feel that. There's never enough storage. When I actually do get coins in the game, like for free, they end up going to storage. So, got to build up that storage.
Oh, I had so much
Oh,
to
God.
open. There we
Still
go.
scared.
Everything done.
Ooh, some more seeds.
Seeds.
More powder melon seeds. Need all the powder melons. Oh, dang it. Ooh, hand. Alright. Let's get my
Yay,
tools
more
out.
rewards.
Goat, you got milk?
Triple shot espresso mono. At the museum, if you want it.
Ooh.
Is there a use to reading all the books in the museum?
Let's see.
Oh no. I do it because I hate having them all pop up.
Yep.
Has no wool at this time. Yeah, I know. I just was tricky. Okay, so we already did that one. We already did that one. This is what I do now. Bucket. Back. Okay. Is there any reason I need to keep milk and stuff? Probably not. So how long do we have on the egg thing?
9 days.
Nope.
Oh, we got time.
Yeah,
We got
we just
plenty
need
of critters.
10 more.
Yeah,
Well,
plenty of critters.
We need 13 more.
I'm gonna clean for a bit.
But we
Okay.
only need to technically collect
Good luck
10
with your
more. We
cleaning.
made.
Catch some Pokemons while you're at it.
We made some of the ones that we collected out of that into
Watermelons.
Oh no, I thought you meant in your chat.
Oh. Good luck with your cleaning? What?
I got granite. Do we just sell that? That's a mineral, or do we need it for something?
Granite?
As long as Gunther doesn't need to see it, you can
Yeah, you can sell it.
sell it.
So all the minerals are useless. Okay.
Unless they're the gems.
Unless what?
Unless they're the gems, like the ruby, amethyst, stuff like that.
I have Necoite, Orpiment, Jagoite, and
Yeah, those can be sold.
Fluorapeptide.
Yeah, you can sell those.
Omelets. Star items going here.
I found a shrimp cocktail in a geode.
Interesting.
Mm.
A strange place to have a shrimp cocktail.
Yep. Doesn't sound fresh at all.
Prehistoric shrimp cocktail.
Oh, I can make cakes.
We still need
Cakes
to.
and
Oh no,
Coke.
we don't need to water. Ooh.
No, we don't water anymore. We're slackers.
Oh,
Watering is no longer a thing unless you just
Wait.
want to remove sprinklers and
What
only
about
do
the
it for the
greenhouse?
experience.
I thought you did the
It's got
greenhouse.
sprinklers too. It's
Oh,
all hooked up.
good.
We're all good. Fun.
Ah,
And
I have no idea what that was anyway.
I've got a periwinkle.
yeah, I
Fuck
can't
yeah.
remember what I needed it for to craft with, but I know I need it for something.
We need it.
Something needed a periwinkle to craft it. I don't even remember what it was.
I thought it was a raccoon, and we did the raccoon.
No, there's something besides the raccoon. Because I was saving it before the raccoon thing became a thing. That's why I had one.
I'll put it in your chest inside the house, inside your
Okay.
house then.
That works.
That way we don't touch it. Oh, you should have done your mystery box today. It
It's
was
okay.
good luck.
I'll wait till I have a few.
Good.
I got some super grow seed fertilizers and stuff
Nice.
from the deluxe speed grow.
Mine made
Look at my
eggplant
chair.
wine. We're making eggplant wine. That just sounds disgusting.
It's gonna be vinegar.
Isn't it? Oh.
It's gonna become vinegar.
Sitting on my porch
wine.
next to my scarecrow.
Ugh. Oh. Yeah, we're just gonna set these guys right here out of my way. A wild heliolisk thingamajig. Words.
Sorry.
It's okay, I was on the wrong one anyway. I was waiting for the
Aw.
wrong one. Oh,
It's not gonna work
what's
now.
that one?
Sorry.
Nope,
Just
we're
trying
good.
to add
I'll
things.
get you.
Oh, it's midnight.
Okay.
Actually,
Oh, I
this
have a
goes in the
periwinkle
other
in my
one.
chest too.
It goes in that one.
I should probably sell this fish. I don't need any of it.
Oh.
So you had a periwinkle the whole time as well, girl?
Yeah, apparently.
We were all hoarding them. We were like, oh my god, we need them. Aw, thank you.
Does anyone have a void essence?
Probably in the chest for the mine stuff.
I
don't
need one
know.
for the wizard.
1:10 in the morning.
Let's go to bed.
I know. I was putting things away.
I think this house will be big in the morning, maybe.
We'll see. Oh yeah.
Oops, I was too late. Oh, damn.
I sold a lot of fish.
Dun, 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 dun.
Mono over here slacking.
I'm a slacker. Multitasker.
Oh. It's not done yet.
Nope.
No shinies.
Made of sauce.
Oh, thank you for the reminder.
Chocolate cake.
Learn how to
Neutral.
make chocolate
Gross.
cake.
You should have gone yesterday. They were feeling very good. Look at
I
you
was fishing.
stealing my ore.
Simona,
Huh?
travel merchant.
Where you going with that? Hmm? Hmm?
Traveling merchant fleet will
I just
dock
picked it up. I was
Pelican
gonna put it
Town for the
away.
yearly night market.
Why there? This is the
I
just
wasn't gonna put it over here.
Free
Why?
coffee the next 3 days at the night market.
I was just coming over here because I had something else I needed to grab.
Huh?
I don't even know what we
Look at
need at
you
this point.
scuttering off with the iridium. Huh? Huh?
Maybe we need to work on tools.
Market
Oh,
starts at
okay.
5 p.m.
Sweet.
We'll be aboard for the next 3 days.
Yep. So next 3 days, starting at 5, we gotta go.
Oh,
to
is
the
that
night
the
market.
submarine one?
Mhm.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep. Jeez. Get my sea and river jelly.
So we definitely need to work the mines, it looks like. Oh,
Mhm.
it's toasty in here. Hat break. Oh, yeah.
Hang on a mind.
Yay! Oh, crescent. I think I made some more toppers. Just gotta grab them.
No, I put my. I see you, slittering wormsies. The fuck's that? Oh, a rusty spur. Ooh.
Yeah, I could probably sell it.
Forgot all about Sebastian.
Making the trash
A new trick
cans.
hatched. It looks odd.
Oh,
What
no.
are we gonna name it?
Cola. Ooh.
I don't know.
It's a void, maybe.
Abe.
What?
Abe
It's
from
a void
Oddworld.
chicken.
Alright.
It's either a void chicken or a dino. I don't even know.
It is a
I'm going to
dino.
it.
If you don't know Oddworld, oh, the fence are broken. Not that it matters because it's winter, but
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on iron fences.
Oh.
But we need all
It
the
is
iron
actually
from
a
the
chicken.
mines.
It is a void chicken.
Collect. So we get triple shot espresso, 3 of them, and a crystal chair. So if we each get crystal chairs, we might have enough to furnish the house full of crystal chairs.
I
Or
mean,
a
crystal
house
chairs
full of
are really
crystal chairs.
cool.
Yeah, so whoever's house wants like a bunch of crystal chairs, we're gonna have enough of them.
It's gonna be Ice Palace.
Yeah.
Anyone go in the greenhouse today?
Nope.
I'll go check.
I have not. I think you can take a few seeds and plant a few things too if you want.
If there are any, yeah. I could.
Yeah, there's a couple empty spots from last time I was in there. There's definitely seeds though by the garden.
2, 5, 6,
Crystal.
7, 11, 12,
No.
18, 19. So we technically need 5 more of the eggies, and then we could take them to Gus. Alright, I go to.
I think I got everything.
Probably.
Okay. So what kind of seeds are we doing? Are we doing the starfruit yet?
She's waiting until we have a bunch of those and we can reorganize probably. But
Mm,
just do anything that repeats for now, I guess. Or needs
cauliflower.
new stuff.
Oh no, days 12 days.
No, I was doing all those mixed seeds.
Oh no, broccoli. It reharvests every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
gonna
you were
reorganize it at
doing
some
the
point.
mixed flour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the mixed seeds, whether it was flowers or just regular.
I guess we do have 12 more. What? So when do you want to do? If you have a bunch of starfruit, then you want to do the starfruit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did we have the seed maker yet?
No. Maybe that was what I was gonna craft. that needs
Wait,
the
wasn't that the one I
periwinkle.
got?
Might be. Check. See if
Yeah.
it needs the
I got a worm
periwinkle.
bin.
Yeah,
I
do
can
you-
make a
Something
worm
needs
bin.
something
already
needs
have
the
one.
periwinkle to
Oh,
craft
you
the
have one?
armor
Oh.
bonus.
Oh yeah,
By my
that's
house.
yours. Yeah. Recycle machine, oil maker. We don't have an oil maker yet.
Yeah, we do. There's one.
Oh,
Because we got one pig.
yeah, that is good. Then we good.
What did we need? Is that what needed the periwinkle? I don't know. But did you make the seed maker? You said you had the ability to make that.
I don't think I have it. No.
I'm being bad.
I don't see it, so
Being bad.
Whatever needed the periwinkle, I don't think I have the recipe for.
I don't think I do either, and the save is the problem. I think it's in a different save. That's
Yeah,
why I know it
you might be.
exists. It's just
Mhm.
not in this save yet. Somewhere in my save. Welcome to Steam, slacker.
Mhm. Okay, I'm over here slacking too. I'm supposed to be mining, but I keep catching Pokemon.
I'm not even looking at mine. I turned it off. It's still on technically, but
so actually the chest next to the is that still a thing that I have to sell all the fruits, or is that obsolete now? Or all the
I think it's
produce?
obsolete.
if you're still the farmer, you can still sell what's in the green chest.
So it didn't matter anymore, remember? I looked
It
at
doesn't
it.
give her a bonus.
It doesn't.
Give
So
us a bonus,
it does
yeah.
it's overall.
Then I'm taking the chest away.
Yeah. So like the crafting things is individual, but like the selling price and stuff, that's yeah.
So even for like the animal products and stuff like that,
Yeah.
overall.
Put the chests in the greenhouse with the seeds we're using now. So
Good to know.
What did we need from the mines? Copper?
I did get a bunch of copper from the geodes earlier, but they're
We need
already in the
iron like
chest.
crazy. We need
Iron,
lots of
okay.
Lots of
as well.
iron, so we can make fences and things and stuff. We need iron for kegs. We need iron.
Yeah.
We need copper and iron for kegs. And
Okay, well, I'm going for iron then.
Slacker, not my group, right? Yeah, not your group tonight. Next time. When is that? Is that Friday coming up? Or is that
Yes, I think so.
Friday coming up, I think? Yeah. Let's see. Let me check real quick the schedule. Announcements. Scroll up forever or go to pinned items. Yes. This Friday is Purple Group Stardew. Purple Group. Gosh, I can't believe my birthday's that close. You.
I know. That's crazy.
Where is the watering can again?
There.
And the just and the
Another
oh
one.
look at the butterflies. Above my house there's like ice butterflies.
Oh.
They're pretty. They like glow in the dark too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You sound like a cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Nope, I don't
Yeah.
see any watering cans. Where the frick?
There might be one in my chest.
We need it. Check range.
I have a
chest,
normal
got
one
it.
in mine, but I don't know where
Sounded
the
wrong. Let's see.
I don't know where the big shot went.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless we're upgrading that one again, but I don't think so.
Oh, you have it.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're so cute.
Danny, there was one in my chest.
Baby, baby. Okay.
Oh, I'm fighting a bunch of the skeleton dudes too.
And there.
Oh goodness. Got a wave of monsters.
Where did I put coffee beans?
You can replant them
Oh, fuck.
if you want.
I'll put them away later.
That's fine.
I messed up.
I usually try to replant like a handful of them and then
So I put the gate in the wrong spot and I don't have a pickaxe at the moment, so if you guys want to move it and put the gate at the right spot, you can. That's not the gate. The gate's up top.
Oh!
Remember your walkway? You have like a little walkway going on for us to know where the gate is, and I put it in the wrong spot.
Good job.
Yeah, I did good. Did real good.
There you go.
Thank you.
Not sure if it's correct though, but the last one I
sure.
put. Not gonna make it. Sebastian's gone now. Damn it.
Rude.
I think Sebastian. I can't go in the house anymore. Unless he's still hanging out outside somewhere.
Nope. Okay. A wild Kecleon appeared. Catch to see if you have it.
Expecting a lid.
So you didn't move the gate after all?
I did. I made a hole.
He's back in his house.
It's still in the wrong spot though.
No, I took out a thing. I didn't know there was now it's in the wrong spot, isn't it?
I know.
This is not.
Yeah, you gotta remove both pieces. I can't remove both of them. You only removed the one piece.
I had removed that one.
Yeah, so now put that there. There you go.
No, but I did remove this one.
It was
Someone
still.
put it back.
No, I can't. I can't put it. Just in the middle piece was in the wrong spot.
Yeah, no, but I made the hole here. I just didn't put a gate there.
We're only half a heart away from getting another pet.
What? That's cool.
Almost bedtime.
I'm trying to remember how to do this now. There we go.
Wait, we have to go to sleep in Mono's.
Oh no! Run! Sleep!
I said it like 5 seconds ago.
I know, I heard you. I did hear you. I just was like,
Is the house bigger? Dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
Mono achieved moving up.
That means we have a kitchen.
That's
awesome.
In the fridge.
Alright, stretch break though. I'm not pushing any buttons because take a stretch break real quick.
Okay.
Because I can. And Rain's sitting there eating all that ice cream.
What? You get ice cream?
I did. I bought ice cream like a week ago. Before.
And you left it out? No, I'm kidding.
No, I left it in the freezer and forgot about it. As I do. I earned a reward. I earned. reward did I earn? $5 off, please. Mhm. Thank you. Rewards. But oh, I do have a $5.
Hmm?
Means I get a free skate of yarn.
Mm.
Does it expire? 20th. Okay. Guess I can do that tomorrow after I get off. Look, Ricky. Here, Ricky cat. There, baby. There you go. That's my fruit. There you go. Oh, you hear Dad. He's feeding. She's coming.
Cover your butt.
Dalton poured food in their bowl and she went
Hmm.
running. She heard him opening the food container.
Your butt, Michigan. The cat's coming. Better watch out.
Yup.
See, there she is.
Different cat, but sure.
Hear that meme?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who is that? Terry Crews, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ted Cruz and the Kit Kat. Beep. I'm sitting on my foot. There you go.
Oh, it
Still
made
not
me wake
fin-
up in my own home.
Oh, that's because probably Mono has the upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Emily
They
just
kicked
came
you
to
out of
talk
my
to me.
bed?
I ignored her. I have no idea what she
I
just
thought
told me
maybe
about.
you could use
Spirits are
this.
very happy today.
Ooh,
Do all your
if he
things.
would. My house is so huge! I'm
Ooh.
gonna have to do some rearranging.
That we just walk over.
Yeah.
Yay!
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah. I need all the help. Yeah, you can put the crystal chair in the kitchen if you want. I can't pick that up because I don't have the right tool. I can't pick that one up either.
Why not? You
Nothing
can just
else,
pick
huh?
stuff up.
I wouldn't let me.
I'm not using a tool.
I don't know.
Just left mouse
some of
button.
them you have to. That's a really weird spot for a chest.
Yeah, I can't move it. I don't have my pickaxe. You can put it in the
Oh,
bedroom.
that one.
I just
put
couldn't
it
do it.
against the wall, maybe, or put the television somewhere else. Oh, you can't turn the television? Wow.
No. Some things you can rotate, but I forget how.
Yeah, with the right mouse button.
Yeah.
You could put this here, for example.
There you go.
Thank you. Don't forget today's luck, so.
In the bedroom.
Oh, and I got tons of junk in here we can actually take out and put in the house.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There's stuff in there that can go up, but I'm gonna go do the thingamajig. Geez, that's so loud. Every time that
Actually,
goes off.
so then we can have fridges here until we expand it again if we need to.
Wow. Michigan. Keep forgetting to grab more tappers.
Yeah, I think.
Pipe, pipe, pipe. Michigan's being the hot man. I'm gonna dig in the trash cans and try not to get caught.
Sounds about right.
I haven't been to the beach in ages though, so there's probably like tons of stuff at the beach.
Yeah, I've only gone to fish. I haven't actually like looked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only good for fishing.
I wouldn't disagree.
She makes a good wife too, but we won't talk about that.
Laughing. I do not. At the moment, I'm harvesting the eggplant, so that's kind of
Okay.
On
Harvesting eggplants. Oh my god. You get the eggplants, girl.
Yeah.
Look behind me.
What is
The
it?
signed poster from Blackbriar.
Oh, nice.
I didn't realize how tiny Zora was. She's so freaking tiny.
Yeah,
Never have to take
Dutch
that
people are
junk out.
tall, so the guys are like
Yeah,
pretty
really
tall above
tall.
her, and then yeah.
Crush.
Tiny little girl. I love her.
Crush. Crush. Trash. There. Hi, Elliot. Come back.
Bruce.
I have cheese for you. Marvelous. I don't know if he likes it or not. I don't know what his favorite food is. I don't even
I
know.
don't know.
Cats.
Mama.
Oh my god.
Not like that. Hentai.
So high quality vegetables at a slight premium.
Uh-huh.
25-star gold star
Oh, she's
vegetables. Or precisely. We're going with
She
this
won't
one.
let me
We
in
get 2
yet.
weeks.
Get an
Alright.
orange kitty.
Pierre's giving us 2 weeks to collect 25 gold star vegetables.
Okay. I have plenty of gold star vegetables. Just trying to get the purple stars that we'll work on.
Yeah. We have to harvest 25 and then
Yeah,
place
did we
them
forget
in the empty produce box.
Did we forget the festival yesterday?
Yeah.
Fuck, we did. God
Yep.
damn it. We forgot about it.
Yeah. We did.
It's not like the thing did a hey, the festival started.
Oh no, we
There's
didn't
no-
miss it. We didn't miss it.
Oh, is it still going
started
on?
today. It was just telling us that it started today. We're okay. I'm looking at the
How did you
computer.
open 2 chests? Oh, because you're in the workbench. What? That looked weird.
Ah! That's weird. I didn't know you could. They opened up when you got in the workbench.
Yep.
I didn't know.
Let me show you.
Yeah. Do it.
There you go.
Can't see anything happening. Oh, there. Oh yeah, that's cool. Didn't know what you hover over. I bet.
Transmute? What do you need transmute for? A bar of pure
Oh.
iron.
Yeah, I think you could turn copper to iron, iron to gold.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's like
Mm-hmm.
alchemy.
Arm and a leg. Sometimes a whole body.
Dang cow's gotta be
What
so
are we gonna
far
do with a
away.
radish? I have one radish, a normal one. Just
Leave it. Leave it.
Put it up your
Recipe.
butt. I don't know.
eat it.
No, leave it. Recipe or something. Who knows?
Oh, I'll put it in a chest in front of your house.
Okay. And
Sebastian, I'm coming.
come back. Feed. Feed.
Night market.
Oh wait, well Sebastian will be there, but I won't be able to talk to him.
Come back.
Why wouldn't you be able to talk to him?
I mean, gift him.
Yeah, you will.
Really?
It's not like an event. Like it's just like a. That's a free.
Yeah,
free
you're
dog.
allowed to access your inventory because of the coffee and stuff like that.
Hi, Sam.
Do we need to bring anything?
No.
Okay.
I would bring your fishing pole though.
I have it. Where did your second grade fishing pole go? 'Cause I still have the bamboo one.
I have the fiberglass. I bought it from Willie. You have to buy it.
Yeah, I know, but I thought you went one up again, but you didn't.
I haven't gotten there redeem yet. I have a Gale.
She's selling a link card. Do we need that?
At
Can
some
I
point,
buy
yes.
one void essence for my quest?
Not just
It's
it.
500 gold.
Oh yeah. We're at
Thank you.
41,000.
She
How
has
much is Lingcod?
a futon bear and wedding ring recipe.
The wedding ring recipe is only good if
500.
it's in game.
Huh? It's already in the game?
So wedding ring is for
Marrying
players.
IRL players. You can only marry IRL players with a wedding ring.
Oh.
Everybody else, you have to do the standard Stardew marriage method with the doohickey and stuff.
What? Gravestone. Stone frog. That one's adorable.
Come on, I need a biscuit.
Oh, he's selling the crystal chairs for 2,500. If you want more mono.
Oh.
Nice.
I kind of like the cone head, but it's I want the froggy. One frog statue. It's 500.
So we're gonna get an ice palace. Wild
It's
Synesty
very
appeared.
expensive.
I have so much clay left over for my classes, and I don't know what to do with it. Make things.
Do the things.
Make things,
make
or put it on like or put it on Facebook Marketplace for the next students the next semester.
What?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, get your free cup of coffee, and then get
All right.
someone. I think so. Like I think it's infinite. I'm gonna give it to Abigail.
I have a fishing pole. No.
Right, if it's infinite.
I don't even know what I did with my fishing pole.
Oh, it's not infinite. Never mind.
Oh.
All right,
There's no Sebastian ain't here though.
Did you want
to you gonna eat the clay?
fish,
Okay.
Momo?
Yeah, I'll come. Can we go to this mermaid thing yet?
Oh yeah.
Mermaid show.
Are we
It
gonna do
doesn't-
the mermaid show?
Oh, it's starting.
Oh, well, you can do the mermaid show. I'm not gonna do it. Mono's over here, just on the
On my
farm,
own
ignoring
world.
the night market. Just gotta do the
world.
mermaid
Is she
show. at
gonna
least.
sing?
Was I supposed to get the eggs out of the coop, or did you guys already do that today?
I did not do that.
Oh.
Is the mermaid just gonna sing?
I think I'm just gonna miss the night market today. Misread, but
What
I'm
the
here
fuck kind
now.
of psychedelic is this?
I'll eat some LOL.
Right.
Oh, the clay. you missed it. I'm gonna miss the cup of coffee. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a lovely little psychedelic thing going.
Is this gonna continue on? Oh!
The curtains will close when it's done.
Okay, bye.
I might end the submarine for you.
Yes.
Joke. I will not eat clay. Why
I'm
not?
selling this painting. No, thank you. Mono, did you want the chairs?
How many do we have? Three. So
I have
Probably
one,
just
Brain
do-
has one, and you have one.
Rose,
so just
Rose, yeah.
Rose will have one. I don't think we need to buy it.
Okay, coming.
We'll have 4 by the time Rose gets here. So
Shit, it's already 10 to 12.
Shit. Never mind.
allergies.
I'm so sorry. It's locked
It's okay.
anyway. I could only have gotten there before 11.
Oh, okay.
3,
I didn't know
4,
that.
5, 6, 7,
Me
8, 9,
either.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh yeah, you got plenty of eggs in there now.
Cool. We have 24. at least.
Just see. Oh, not 24 yet. You got like, I don't know. You got a lot.
You
And
sure
I don't
about
know
that?
which ones count. So which ones don't.
I'll
You don't have
panic.
24 yet. You don't have 24 yet. Alright, one more day.
We
Like
should
20.
have 24.
There's like 20 now.
It's the Wizard's birthday on the
If
last
void eggs
day of the
count.
night
I
market.
don't even know.
3, 7, 9, 10.
Come on.
14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 22. We do actually. You liar.
I thought you said you had like 24.
Ah,
No!
Shit,
time to
I have to walk
sleep?
further now for the bed.
I
No.
know. Mona needs to move her bed back
Ah!
to the living room.
I'll sleep at a stranger's house.
Oh,
Mono
you have
passed
no.
out.
We barely made it into bed.
Y'all made it into bed?
Barely, yeah.
I was
I
right
even
next
said
to a
hi to the
house and
cat.
couldn't make it into bed.
I even said hi to the cat right as I was going into bed.
I did.
I was trying to take care of the vegetables. And I messed up.
At least you were on. Oh, nope.
No.
Go to the right side of the bed.
No, we
Yeah.
both did that.
Jeez.
Look, we got a froggy.
It's so cute. But I gotta take a bound sweet break. I have a few that popped up.
Look, Mono. I'm sitting next to my husband.
I like it. I like
The
it.
turnip head.
Your ice chair.
Turnip head.
Yeah.
That's 50 bound sweet. I did.
She's drunk, lol. We need something.
Who's
She's
drunk? I ain't.
Not a.
I'm
I
a
think
silver as a
I
clam.
think he's saying because of the way I fell asleep.
Still haven't gotten a shiny yet.
Yes, sack.
Here's prime produce. Harvest gold quality vegetables.
And I keep forgetting to drop these to eat them. So you had enough eggs? And I can mayonnaise the rest.
Let me So I grabbed some. Yeah, you can mayonnaise what you have in there. I'm gonna go put these in Gus's thing. I know it doesn't open until whatever, but
Rain, if you want, there's
And
like a tiny corner already free for the star fruits, but
there. I think somebody took the purple
well, there's
egg
one
though.
thing in there still.
I think you took the purple egg
Yeah.
out of the chest that I was saving. For the
I could
purple
leave it
things.
open. So if the one thing is gone and the corn,
Oh, I
yeah, the
did.
corn.
I
Yeah.
won't put that in his thing.
Okay. Yeah. Save all the purple stuff. We need purple stuff.
I never never not got it. What?
I literally just grabbed eggs.
Yeah. Usually, if they're in the chest in the barn, they're there for a reason, not to get rid of.
That's fair.
Leave them dead for a reason. Yes, outside. Oh, you kissing and hugging and running, and you an artist? Licking. Keep trying. Keep trying.
What happened here?
I do need to give a hug out on the stream. If you guys want extra cookies in chat. Oh, I still have the tools on me. Yeah. Oh, I'll put the tools on me. All the work for farmer life. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah. Like milk. Okay. I think we're done. I put the tools back now. And
I'm going
okay.
to transfer all my crappy brown sweets, candies.
Hmm?
I
No.
transferred my brown sweets for candies.
Mm.
Okay.
And my mammals have been taken care of.
Nice.
Oh, I keep forgetting though.
Shit! I sold the gold artichoke.
No!
I'm sorry.
Free.
I forgot we had a gold chest.
Yep, we have a gold chest. It's only
Oh,
silver we sell.
We have 5 golden sunflowers.
Only sell silver. Keep gold. And process. Regular.
I did a boo boo, but
Okay.
yeah.
I know.
What?
I'll come back and fix the pen later.
Mission is just licking Pokemons.
Oh,
Here
There we go. I did it.
GG!
Yay! Are you licking all the
3,000?
Pokemons?
Nice.
Yeet.
Wow.
Hey, champ.
Dang, that's a lot.
Oh, hi, Sam.
Good job.
Do we have walleyes? If we do, it's 315 each on the board.
We do not have any, but I plan on catching some.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
go
just have
visit
to.
Sebastian if he's awake. And after that, I'll
Oh.
come down to the beach.
So it's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
What does that mean?
The 16th. He is.
Oh, there's a ticket here.
His room goes to the kitchen at 3. So he should
Ticket.
be
He's in his room.
in the
Ooh.
kitchen Or
Get
about,
it.
he's leaving his room.
Fuck! I did the.
Get all the
I
things.
don't have the shards with me. Can anyone grab some frozen tears?
Yep, I got you. Going.
Thank
Let's
you.
see.
I had like 4 that I saved for Sebastian, but I did the chest or the ordering thingy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna keep
Where
him
is he
talking
at?
inside.
Was Clint not there on Tuesdays?
It's a different day. It's 16th. They have a weird, like...
No, no, he walks
Hey.
faster. No, where are you going?
Oh, you got in his way. He's just going to his room. You have access
Oh, he's
to his
playing
room.
D&D.
Oh, look
Or
at
a board
you.
game.
Yeah, they're playing D&D.
Solarian Chronicles. Want to play?
You. I walked all the way over here because he told me my gold pickaxe was ready.
And it's closed?
Yeah, and he's not there. He left.
Right,
Are you
where'd
ready to
put your
choose your
frozen tears?
character?
Oh, are they in here?
A
Oh, they
wizard.
are.
He's a butthead.
Oh no,
No.
I agitated him.
Night
Oh.
market.
I took his character. What is this?
You're
The king has
playing.
entrust. Oh wow.
What's the best thing to do in the night market? Besides coffee?
Fishing.
Coffee, please, yes.
Oh, this
Thank
is fun. You're not even in here for me, Momo. I was able to just walk right into his room though, so the door
Oh,
was
they got
open.
Maybe is there a chest in front of the house? Or if you want to wait, that's also cool. But
Cloud banners are my favorite.
Okay.
how long does this take?
A whole fucking campaign, man.
Yeah.
Reading. Alright, what you got? We don't need a shell. Do we need amaranth still?
Probably.
Oh, well, that's easy. He did.
Fish.
Oh, with a B rating.
Chips.
No.
Wood skip. Did somebody say wood skip? No.
No.
Pomegranate.
Anyway. Took me like 3
Rare
feet to beat
crow.
my first. Yay. Okay, now what?
Shoot of armor, stone, cone hat.
I saw you standing there.
seeds,
What?
Sweet seeds, blueberry seeds, hot seeds.
Oh no, Rain. Where are you?
And the chairs.
You were there a second ago. There you are. Thank you. He's not in his room anymore.
Oh, that's the
He
mermaid
is
show.
going to be at the
We
night
ain't
market.
doing that.
This time he is? Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's mermaids are creepy and scary.
Thank you for the frozen tear.
I don't know if Abigail likes this.
If
She
you're
was
what?
neutral about it. Cool. I gave her a mushroom. Also, babe, you should try and catch some bounce sweet. It's a community day.
Oh, there's a ticket in here.
Yes.
Yep. I still don't have a shiny one. I'm so sad.
It's a community day for bounce sweet. You need to catch her. You have to try and help me catch a shiny.
I'm not leaving my house and not getting a shiny. Shit.
Like over here trying to catch one. Telling Dalton to help me.
Yeah, because you can just trade with him.
I wonder if the merch is different every day at the night market, or is it the same every day?
It is. It's different every day.
Oh.
Should be.
I like the painting.
Yeah, but not for the money. I just got
A
new bed.
pomegranate? Do we need that?
No,
Oh,
we have a tree. It's growing, but we have a tree.
suit of armor, stone parrot.
It's not like the last thing we need, is it, or anything?
Okay, no.
Probably purple cabbage or something. Well, no.
Did you get the rare Kimono?
No.
I didn't. Which one is
Okay.
it?
The snowman?
I did not
Nope.
buy a rare crow.
Okay, I got it.
What did you say? The red cabbage? No, I don't see it here. I didn't check actually with the.
She doesn't have it.
No, that's the pomegranate. Yep.
Mayor, I swear to God, who's gonna out of the way?
Let's go.
Oh, I gotta get his coffee.
What's this one? All right, I already checked.
She
Bye,
talked to you.
Sebastian.
Oh, it's
It's
too late.
11:30.
Boop.
Oh, fox.
It's okay.
Tomorrow. It's
We
for the
have
ghost.
to do it tomorrow.
It's for the ghost fish, right?
No, the ghost fish you get from the mine.
Oh.
You get some of the midnight things, like midnight carp and midnight squid, stuff like that.
Mm.
Actually,
Took a shortcut.
No.
yeah, Jude.
I got a new bed.
Woo! Oh no, we're good.
What?
Scared me. Bedtime.
No, I don't want to go to sleep. You can't make me.
Sleepy time on ya.
No, I don't want to fall asleep the wrong way again, especially since my bed's a mile away now.
Yeah, we can change it around though if you want.
No, it's fine.
Well, no.
Cat's more likely to trip me up.
Did anyone say goodnight to the cat?
Nope.
Rude.
I'm pretty
He
sure it
wasn't
was
with
on
me.
my bed and I couldn't.
Yes, in my room.
I think he was. I'm not sure. He's not down. Like Kimono. You jump in there one time. Did you grab me? It's Wednesday. Queen of Sauce returns. If you don't
Good
have
humor.
learn how to cook artichoke dip.
I got a mini fridge. So I'm
Mono,
just
go
gonna bring it
get
and put it in
your
this.
your thing and do your Omni box. You have one.
Yes.
Hey, Gus gave me a mini fridge.
Yeah, I just put it in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
I'll do the same.
Mini fridge. We're gonna have all the fridges
Yeah.
going on.
I got a new hammer and I want to try it on a variety. Can you smelt an iron and bring it to me? Okay.
Oh,
Now I just need a fish tank in my house.
This iron? No, it's quartz. We has no iron. Oh, we do
Oh,
have
no.
four ore,
It's
but no
shiny.
enough.
It's shiny.
What is?
What? You got a
Oh,
Pokemon?
sh-
Yay!
are we selling the wine?
Might as well.
No. Well, I mean, you can keep some of them and sell some of them. It's up to you. I mean, I kept a couple already, so you can sell it.
Okay.
For what? For giving them away?
I don't know. Just because it's wine. Then I want to drink it.
-1 speed, and she still wants it.
I'm pretty sure it's probably what what's his name likes is probably wine. Knowing him. No, Elliot. It's probably wine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sounds like something he would like.
We need to find. Where did all the iron go? Oh,
Okay, today must be luck because I checked 3 trash cans and got 3 items.
I said it was luck. Good humor.
Yeah, 3 trash cans and I got 3 items.
Nice. Did you bring your Omnibox?
Yes. I have 3 of
Should we do that for Rose and then put it in her box?
them. Nah, because it's
Okay.
fun to do it yourself.
True.
Totem. I don't want a totem. 2 totems. I don't want totems. 3 totems to the farm. Oh, yeah. I got 3 warp totems.
Oh, yeah.
That was too much luck. I don't need those. Okay. Yeah, we have 3 warp totems to the farm now, you know?
It would be
Apparently I
nice
don't
if
know
we
how to
could like
find my way
l-
home.
Or use them.
if we could lock items.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, kitty. I'll come pet you. Meow.
I don't know
Still
what
half a heart
red
away.
is,
Damn it.
but I have
Is it
one.
like the
Rude.
whole week?
I might just see. I
Okay,
caught a
let's
shiny. We're okay.
down.
I caught a shiny. I don't need your help anymore. You weren't gonna help me anyway.
No. So rude. Oh, I got 10 minutes
Yeah,
to catch
I
something.
have incense going.
I'm not gonna catch one. And there's only 10 minutes left. I'm sad.
Not for me.
I know. I need to stretch, but it's bad time to stretch.
It'd be a bad time to stretch.
Because if I stretch and I walk, they'll pop up. But if I don't walk, they won't pop up. Here, I'll like do this number.
Right.
Phone. Do something. Make him appear. Hugs. Yay. Momo got hugs.
Yay.
Alright. I'm gonna sleep for a hot second and run to the living room.
Did you get your watering can or your thing?
Yes.
Cool.
Oh man, inventories.
Shit.
That's why
Forgot to see if we had a walleye. No!
we don't.
I was saving that.
What?
Slay 3 ghosts.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, I was gonna see the wizard. That's what I was gonna do.
It's his birthday.
Yeah. Also, and I still need to give him the thing as well, so it might count as double. I hope he's in his tower.
Could be.
Yeah? Is he rarely somewhere else?
Huh?
Is he rarely somewhere else?
Yeah, he's almost always in his tower.
Our
Excuse me.
Rapunzel. Cheers. Oh, I had a sneeze attack earlier. I just got
Oh.
on Discord with a friend and I had like 25 or something sneezes.
Oh my god.
So dizzy.
That sounds awful.
My record is 42.
Holy
Yep.
shit.
Yup. I put the void. I hate myself. I gotta stop doing this.
You do?
I put the void essence in a fucking chest. Which means we had one already, so I didn't need to buy one.
No luck.
No?
They won't even spawn right now.
Yeah, it takes
all.
them forever to spawn on mine sometimes.
Oh,
Even with the
whatever.
incense and restarting in the game, yeah, I'm walking around the house. Nothing worked. Cheers, thank you.
That was because Rain sneezed, I think.
Could be.
It was there before Mono came back.
Mm.
Alright, we have to fish tonight.
I know. Where's the Iridium? Where's the Void Essence gone? Oh, there. We had so much Void Essence. Why was it in the trash pile? Why is it not in the mining pile?
Mm.
Box.
Because I think I was just putting all the monster loot with all the trash, because we don't necessarily use monster loot very much.
I mean, for the wizard we do.
Well,
Monster loot.
he's a needy asshole, alright?
One shiny, please. There's like 5 minutes left. Come on. Night market is open.
Quickly going to see the. He's still there. Phew.
Yay.
I loved the kitty. The kitty has been loved.
Yay.
I think we can all do it
Oh.
because I did it as well today.
Hey,
Mm.
hey.
What? Hey, hey, hey.
Ah,
Hey.
she's offering me her eggs.
Oh my, how many?
All of them.
That's a lot. Like 30,000? No.
Yeah. She can have all my eggs.
I'm coming to the market.
Yes, going.
Well,
Go.
you already there?
I am on my way there too.
Okay, whoever's first, go check the
here.
furthest away
Oh, there's a thing back there. I
sell
didn't know that.
market booth.
Oh,
Did you know that?
yeah.
And then we'll
I think you're
quickly go
right.
down them.
Boop, boop.
Oh, well, that's me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like right above you.
Yeah.
The wild Starscape.
I just saw the possum.
Did you
Aw.
finally?
Yeah, he was in town.
I saw a
Nice.
thing on that the other day, a video on the farm. It's just me. Is there a possum in the game?
There's a grape starter. Guys,
Almost
there's grape
laughing.
starters if you want.
Ooh.
Do we want grapes?
Why is that one not picking up? There we
Yeah.
go.
10?
I think she only sells you one.
Nope.
Oh. Okay.
10
You
then?
proved me wrong. Yeah, 10's fine.
Yeah, we should need more grapes than that.
Iridium ore, large egg, mayonnaise, iron ore. We already. Okay, there's nothing
How
here.
much was that sashimi?
1,000.
Oh.
Do we need it?
Let's
Sebastian
see.
really likes it.
It's gonna be like
Nah, I'll
That's
give
one
him
of
the
his
frozen
favorites.
tears. I'll give him the frozen tears.
Make sure you grab your coffee.
Did you do the boat?
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm in here. So I'm just waiting on you to come in so I can pay for this.
Yeah. I'll quickly do the boat. Because. Is that
Oh,
one always
he
the
has
same?
the same stuff, yeah.
Oh,
That one's
I
always the
didn't
same.
know.
Yeah, that one's the
We
same.
made it.
there we go.
Okay, I'll pay you.
Let's go.
And do.
Go!
And tell Tommy
We're
I'm gonna be
going.
like one piece short. Be upset.
Each take a side.
Because then I'm gonna have to take it all back down. And I'm one piece short. Dang it.
Aw.
Yeah, you have to wait till it's fully open.
It's green. What? You already had a hit?
Yeah,
You have bait.
yeah.
Wow. Still got seaweed. I got weed. It's multiplying.
I got a blobfish! Forgot about the blobfish.
Ooh.
Blobfish.
Look, you got the
Midnight
midnight
squid.
squid!
And a geode.
Come on. There we
Is
go.
that the one we're catching? The midnight squid?
Yeah, you can get yeah. Blobfish and midnight squid. I think there's another one that you can catch out here too. Yeah, the spookfish.
What the hell was that?
It's a spookfish. The huge eyes can detect the faint silhouettes of prey.
Okay. Cowgate has been replaced
I'm only
with
catching
metal.
seaweed down here with this bamboo rod.
Yay.
Please
Oh,
be
yeah.
shiny. No, of course not. I'm so upset. I didn't want to get a shiny. There's 2 minutes left.
Oh. It's because of the stupid sleepy one. Do we want to take a penalty today?
Hmm.
No, I'm asking Rain because
Mhm,
we're
mhm.
in the last day of the
Fishing?
water.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
fishing. Go ahead.
Oh, what is this?
Is it being a bitch?
Yep.
That would probably be the blobfish. Yeah, I got a midnight squid.
Let's see. Table.
Got one of each.
Oh, I got it!
Fish.
Whoa, that was difficult.
I'm grateful I got one of each. Oops.
I didn't get blob. I got midnight.
Oh,
Oh, look at the eels coming by. That's what we
Oh,
needed.
yeah.
The eels.
Yeah, I don't think there's an
cards.
eel.
I think there is.
Not that we can catch, I don't think.
Oh, whoa, whoa!
Oh, that's the blobfish. Gotta be. Look at you, you got one.
I'm falling.
Oh,
I'm
I just caught a fish right as we passed out.
Nice sea cucumber.
I passed out too. And I'm in my house.
Worth it.
I wonder what the penalty is gonna be for all three of us.
I was stuck my mind on decorating and passed out.
I don't know what the penalty was. Let's see. Someone dropped you off at the clinic last night. You passed out from exhaustion. Gotta take better care of yourself and go to bed at a reasonable hour. I billed you 1,000 to cover your medical expenses.
Okay,
Well,
fine. I'd
guess
like
I
to
did.
give you some information about coaching event, Feast of the Winter Star.
Oh, my secret friend.
I'll tell you
For
when
the
Feast of the Winter
25th.
Star is on the 25th.
Oh, the feast? Secret gift exchange.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, friend is surprised.
Oh, I shouldn't say
your
deny?
secret friend is. You guys are gonna hate me. My secret friend is Sebastian.
I got
I have
Caroline.
I didn't get any
Oh.
pass out mail. I guess because it was in my
You
house.
were in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
You're
you
in your
guys are the
house.
expert. What is Sebastian like so I can bring him something? I don't know.
Frozen Tear.
Tear is his favorite. Which is why Momo has a horde in the thing.
Oh, I have like I keep a couple with me, so.
I will need one of your frozen tears, man.
No, they're still in some in the chest.
Yeah, there's some in
I
the
didn't take
mining
all
chest.
of them. I just kept the one that I found in the mines to give to him.
I gotta make another chest.
The grapes. Should I put them in the? No, they're not fun to have here. I'll just save them for later, maybe. Until there's like spots at the end of this thing. Maybe, like at the top.
Yeah.
Or at the left, like a row, a column.
to the top.
Top? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Pipe.
Puddles. No. Alright. I'm just gonna throw away my trash decorations since they were free anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They take up enough space.
I don't think there's a spot at the top, unless this is a spot. Let's see. Hey, it is. Nice. Well, we have one grape growing for now.
I have baited the traps.
You baited.
Hey.
You baited?
And
Recycle these things. And I'm gonna sell my free coffee because I can't get any more gifts to Abigail.
Oh, they're for Abby?
Well,
I mean, you can save the coffee for somebody that wants to walk fast.
nope. I threw them away.
Hmm.
Well, I sold them, but
Wait, I put my special coffees in. I put my triple shot espressos in something as well. I'll grab them back.
I don't
Okay.
put it down anywhere.
So what do we have to do with those fishies we caught earlier?
I put them in my chest because I was
What are you
gonna put
supposed
them
to
in
do
a
with
fish
that
tank.
thing?
Ah, okay.
Oh my god.
12 months.
We don't need
I
them.
Where does the time go?
No,
Oh
I
my
just I
cow!
hold
Thank
on to
you
them
so
because I
much,
like them.
Sluts. Thank
Okay.
you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the stream, man. See here.
They might be.
Thank you for the 12 months, 1 whole year. Dang, how are you today? I hope you're doing awesome. You guys hanging
There
out
they
and
were.
having fun. Friday is purple farm start day with you guys. Yoga ball? Okay, I got you. What color though, Turtle? Red. Okay. But yeah, Friday. Purple Star. Stardew team. So you guys get ready, write it down. Remember, chilling and yeah. Okay. I gotta put on my thing and get my yoga ball. Welcome, Turtle.
Oh, that's right. We
But
do
yeah.
need our gold star for here, don't we?
Of
Fuck.
Jet Cat.
Hi.
He's
Alright.
full-hearted.
Who is the kid?
What can we do? What can we do?
We
What
can
can we
get
do?
it
What
up
can we
if-
do?
Go to Robin
We
and
might
find
get
out
a
what
letter
we need.
tomorrow.
Yay!
I turned my
Hopefully.
thing.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
I want a doggy. Oh, here. Hi, Pam. You want wine?
No.
Pam's happy with the wine.
Oh dear. Yoga ball achieved. Alright. Back to the farm. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
I don't know. Did I check the TV today?
I don't know. Did you?
Cactus fruit. I don't know.
What is that?
Cheers.
So we still eating iron bars like crazy, I take it.
I got rice
Yes.
pudding from the trash.
I guess I should go mining soon.
Did you guys pick up your ticket from the...
Did
I got a blue pinstripe
touch
badge just now.
your
There's a lot
shocking
of books
tail?
parked
That's
away.
you want to get shocked, right?
Mm.
Alright, I'm gonna go put
That's the
these
whole button.
25 produce and appears thing since we had so many. I took just one of each that had multiples,
For what?
and then
I don't know where you are.
extras. Oh, I'm
I don't know
going
what she's talking about.
Because for the weekly thing,
Oh, you're taking all
25
the
gold
purples
gold
Yeah.
and
star.
golds. Oh, is it only gold? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I'm gonna be playing a thing with Abigail real quick.
Let's Midday Beans gets 500
I guess I finally hit
cookies
her
because you
two
got the
heart.
hucks.
Or 2 heart.
Oh, too late. 4:30. It's four. It's until 4, right? The
Hello!
blacksmith.
Thanks for the lurk, hello.
4, yes.
Yeah. Type.
Too late.
Thank you, Flint. Alright, we can do this. And find my game again. Where it is.
Bastion, where are you?
Hey, I would like to know too.
Right. Yeah, I
Need
know it's
froze.
ridiculously hard, Abigail. I'm not. I
What is
suck at
Caroline
it.
like?
So where do we keep the frozen tears?
Favorite is
mining
fish
chest?
taco,
The
green
chest
tea,
for
summer spangle,
the-
tropical
There it
fury.
is. Okay, I just want to make sure I keep one on for
Oh
when
god.
that thing happens.
Sebastian's not here.
I don't think I did animal things today. Oh well. I made
Where's
a
Sebastian on
mudslide.
Tuesday?
Oh, I'm also
Oh, found him.
moist from cleaning my clay-infested towels and
Oh,
cloths.
Sebastian.
Oh boy, Momo,
Don't tell me
what
it's
do you
good.
have? What kind of response do you have to artist's comment?
What?
Sorry, I'm struggling right now.
Oh, you guys are night fishing.
No,
Cheers.
No, that's finished.
no, I'm playing this stupid game with Abigail.
Oh no,
What game?
not the Abigail. Hey, the double pickup thing is working. When I pick up stuff, I'm getting two.
I got
instead
a
of
game
one.
defense book. Yay.
Like foraging items, when I picked them up off the ground, I got like 2. I don't think I've ever actually seen them work.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Halfway done? We're only halfway done?
What?
Abigail!
Mystery boxes and clay.
Ah! That was my last life.
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff over here.
What game are you playing?
It's like
Don't
this.
get
Oh, fuck.
tired. I feel like
It's like
a
a
goth
stupid
hippie
little,
right now.
like, mini
Oh,
game.
no. How is that?
I don't remember what it's called.
It sounds like a yummy dessert.
That's a
I'm
big
just
stick.
kidding. Let's see. Catch the duckling. Do I have
It took
it?
me longer than
I don't think I do. Let's say I'll be going to bed early. Why? Why early? You gotta get up early. I mean, you can't say anything. I'll go to bed early too, eventually.
Why is there nothing in the tappers? Did someone check
That's
recently?
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the
Yeah.
tappers?
I'm here.
Why
I
are
just
there-
walked by
Oh!
them.
Mono! We still need to put all the tappers on these trees.
I know. That's what we forgot to do. Let's build tappers.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Don't
We'll build
cut them
tappers.
down, Rain. These are the special trees we need.
I didn't plan on cutting them. I don't
Cool.
usually go to the quarry.
She's
Yeah,
just
fine.
making sure you don't do that.
Okay.
No reason. Just really bored staring at stuff.
Did you go into the cave?
Not yet.
Oh, there's nothing here. Okay.
Yeah, they're dangerous mines.
Yeah, I thought it was the same as on our hunting ground.
Lava
That's
could come
beautiful. But it's way too much money. Yeah, 25,000. You get a lava katana. I'm just like, I'm drooling.
Mono, do you know there's a special cat sword in Stardew?
No, I did not.
It's an Easter egg.
I just
You can
stole
find
a bunch of
it
stuff.
on a special level in the lava, I think.
Ooh,
I
splash. Splash me
I
again.
put a frozen tear into the
Sled splash
crystallarium,
me.
so we'll just keep getting
Yes.
frozen tears for you.
Look,
Oh,
pretty far.
good idea.
So when I'm reaching this far, then when I'm I'm filling up
Get
those,
him a
then
be able
bouquet and give it to him.
Craft another one
What?
of those.
When you get 8 hearts with them, give him a bouquet.
I bet the
Ooh,
crystallarium is the thing you need the periwinkle for.
I'm at 2 stars with Abigail.
I can't craft one
crystallarium.
of those yet.
That's
Yeah,
this
to
guy
craft
over
one.
here,
Ooh.
this pulsating guy.
Oh. Oh. Pickles.
Ooh,
Oh, the pickles. Pickled corn.
pickles. It's getting late,
Sleepy
guys.
time.
I'm gonna go sell these real quick.
Yeah, same.
Oh, dang. Thank you.
I think you could make something from snow jams as well.
Dun, dun, dun,
Probably.
dun. There we go.
And crystal fruit.
What's with me?
Do you want to build a snowman?
No.
Yes. Snowman.
1
Snowman.
a.m.
Yes, sir.
Bedtime.
I don't know what that means.
Bedtime.
Okay.
We don't know bedtime.
Bedtime. Okay.
Sleepover party with some coffee.
Yes. Good night.
Oh, I need
Good
to
night,
take care of those
Mono.
zombies.
Good night, Mono. Good night, Turtle. Sleep well. Get some
And
sleep.
I just go to sleep. Yes, okay, cool.
You take
Night,
care.
Kano. You splash me? Splash back.
No, it's
Sorry,
Betty
artist.
Splash Artist. Rude. What did my wife do to
Boop.
you?
I booped a bot. Booped
Boop.
myself. Booped artist. Booped artist again. Boop boop. Artist gets all the boops.
Oh, the bot is getting all the love.
Right. Bot is winning. The lucky
we get a
day
thing?
or no.
No, we haven't gotten a thing. How rude.
Fortune teller. Ah, since the viewer has joined us again.
Very happy.
Welcome. Spirits are very happy today. Ooh. Very happy spirits, so process your geodes if you wish.
Hey, we didn't get a message indeed for a pet.
No. I think that's rude.
Don't we need to go to Robin, maybe?
I know she has the pet balls.
Copper and wood. So I need 2 coppers in order to make and wood. Oh,
Now
I
you
know
got
what's
the
missing.
money.
Wood. Is there no wood in here? No,
Oh,
there's
what
not.
kind do you need? Because I was gonna go for another pet.
Oh, go get a pet. I was just gonna make tappers. We can make them
Okay.
later.
I'm not sure if I can though. Let me check. Stardew. Second pet. Adopt the first free pet that Barney brings you. Max. Yeah, purchase a new pet bowl from Robin's shop.
And then we get
Okay.
another pet.
Yeah. Let's
Go
see how
get
much
the
the
pet bowl.
Yeah, let's see how much it is because I don't know if we have enough.
Here, I'll look it up.
Kiss. Oops.
We might need
I
more
booped
wood.
myself.
Wait, no, that's.
We need 25 hardwood.
Boop yourself. But
Oh, we got it.
5,000.
You gonna sing
We
for
got
us?
it. Let's go.
We'll do it. And then when you have stuff left, I'll make 2 hickeys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need hardwood?
I got it. We
Oh,
got
yeah,
40,
I know.
49.
See.
Okay.
Oh, you mean mono?
Yeah, I was
I
asking if Mono needed it.
Need
so
wood?
mono. I have
Hardwood.
31 normal wood.
Not at the moment.
What do you need for wood? What kind of wood?
Regular
She
wood.
just needs her-
But oh, I got 31. I'm saying I'm not gonna use it, but I grabbed it because I was excited. Sorry. Oh. Okay.
I just need a regular wood
build.
to make
Where do we
peppers.
put it? Here, next to this empty house.
Put it next to your house if you want.
Uh,
Somewhere near your house.
Mhm.
For yours.
there's stuff everywhere.
Does it give you an option to put it near the other one?
Yeah, but that's so far away. For it to get to pet it every time. And to water it.
Well,
I can put it here, I
just go
suppose. There's
somewhere.
nothing here. We can always
Move it.
move it.
Mhm.
So there's no construction time.
That's
It's
cool.
prefab.
So next morning you wake up, I'm guessing a pet will show up.
I guess it's already there, maybe. I can give it a different color.
Cool.
Now it has hay.
Did we need an animal from Marnie still?
If you want to get
it
another
says-
pig and another what's the other one we're missing? Not goat, but another sheep. If you
Yep,
want 2
okay, yep.
sheep and 2 pigs, that way they can
Okay.
multiply
For this
as
one, it
well.
says wait for Marnie's letter, so it's not that. Yeah. That's Sebastian.
And then a piggy.
Stocking
So
notes as
many
well, right? With the
animals.
hearts for peoples.
Okay. I got a pig and a sheep.
Okay. I'm still waiting for our 1 rabbit to get a dang rabbit foot, but
Oh,
Hmm?
the raccoon has a wife.
You got a wifey?
He's got a
nice.
wife.
Did you talk to
Hungry
him?
need fruit. Oh, he needs dried powder melons and cactus fruit jelly.
Well, we have to
Nice.
we have to watermelons,
Well, we need
right?
dried,
Watermelon.
which means that we need to dehydrate them.
Right. What do we need for that?
We already have the dehydrator.
Oh well, that's
No, we
cool.
don't. Shit. No.
The game
Hang on,
knows.
hold on.
The game knows. Oh, I got more watermelon seeds. How long does it take?
Oh, yeah.
7. We won't make it.
Yeah.
Or we just we'll make it.
Just barely.
What?
Yeah.
Oops. I caught a shiny. You did? You're lucky I didn't catch one. Hi, Six. How are you feeling? How are you, man?
Same artist.
I was just talking about you earlier.
Seeds.
Yeah, I don't, because I think because I did my thing, we didn't do the thingy thing, so maybe we don't have it in here. No, we don't. Shit. That's gonna be a problem.
Mona, you want the wood?
Here.
Where are you?
You put it in the chest by the
Yeah, I'm in the
crafting
greenhouse at the
table.
moment, but I can, yeah.
Yeah. When you go that way again, no rush.
Dehydrator. How do I craft it? Oh, after purchase. I have to purchase the recipe from here.
I literally got back on game and
Oh.
clicked
And
on
it's
all of them
10,000.
to see if there were
Well, we got
higher
money,
CP, and it was. The last one I clicked on, we were talking about me. No wonder my ears are ringing.
Do I have permission to buy the dehydrator
Yeah,
recipe for 10,000?
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Do we have permission, mommy?
I just had to ask. Yeah.
Can I go in here yet?
Give me the-
Got the
Alright,
mirror
So
shorts.
now I know how to do that.
Time to royally go embarrass the mayor. I got his
What?
boxers. I got his purple boxers.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, right. I still need to. I still need to. Ooh, Marnie. For
Marnie.
that. Yeah.
Just, yeah. Time to go mess with the
Wait, did I
mayor.
already do that? I think I already have Marnie.
Hi,
two hearts.
Mayor. Are you
Not
home?
one.
No, you're not
I
home.
know,
Wait, do they
okay.
regress? They do, don't they?
They do, yeah.
That is
Where
so
is
bitchy.
he? He at the bar?
That is so bitchy.
I'm gonna go
Embarrassed him in
deforest a
front of
little
all
bit.
his friends? Oh god, they're doing something in here. Well, folks,
What?
once again, we're gathered for a very special occasion. Oh, it's a giant omelet. A rare visit from a rare dear
Oh.
friend.
Oh, it's because we gave him his
My world
eggs.
famous giant omelet. Zesty bell pepper, juicy tomato, rich mushrooms, and tangy cheese, all enrobed in a blanket of rich, fluffy eggs. Dig in, folks. They all eat an omelet. They didn't offer me any. Willie, what do you think?
I have no clue what went into Crystallarium.
The
What?
mushrooms are a tad
Huh?
chewier than last year.
Oh, so you just put one
Is that a good
frozen
thing?
tear in, and
I'm
it'll
not
continue to make it.
I
I
wanted
think it's
to,
really
but
gross.
it kind of I picked it up and it
I'm
instantly
so
put something in,
hungry.
and I don't know what it
Eat
was.
something.
Oh,
What are you gonna make for
it just
dinner?
automatically starts the frozen
And
tear
it tastes
again.
even better because
Really?
it's on the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, it
Oh.
just continually makes it until
These
you
eggs
like
are so
hit it
rich and
to
yellow.
get rid of
Marty,
it,
are
and
these
it'll
from
pop
your
out the
place?
frozen
Oh.
tear. It's basically just
good.
You
copying
can
it.
take Mono over in
Cloning
Meadowland
it.
Parks. Aw, we all got a bunch of hearts from all of them. Meowland
Yeah.
eggs. Meowland eggs. We now have a brand of eggs called Meowland eggs.
Ah, cute.
Alright, where's the mayor? We're gonna fully embarrass him right in front of his girl. Look at this.
Right.
He's sipping on his cocktails with his girl at the bar. We're gonna hand him his
I
undershorts.
like doing that.
Oh, you found them. Where? Hey. There, I have no idea how they could have gotten there. He coughed. Yeah.
Clint isn't here.
This stays between you and me, got it? No, we're at the bar. Everybody just saw me hand you your boxers. Sorry.
No, you're not.
I guess they're not paying attention.
No.
Marty doesn't seem to notice that you're there. She is clued on him. Brush my hair daily or else clumps into messy knots. Oh,
Whoa,
jeez.
Money's portrait changed. She has long hair now.
Hi.
Marvelous.
She's always had long hair.
Really?
Yeah, but they change with the winter.
That's why.
They changed outfits in the winter.
Damn, I was hoping Clint would
Oh,
be here.
I give Emily some cheese for Michigan.
Wait, isn't he just there?
I'm
just
sure
now?
he'll appreciate it.
He just arrived.
I
That's
gave
Clint.
you some cheese.
Excuse me, why can't I give this to you? Huh? Clint?
I gotta quit rearranging my thing.
What are you trying to give to him?
Bring Clint an iron bar. It's right here. I had to click next to him to give it to him.
Oh, nobody called the Pokemon.
Oh, we still need
I'm sorry.
amethyst for Emily.
Oh shit.
And a pale ale for I should have bought a pale ale probably. Can I?
Guess it doesn't rain
We
in
can
winter.
make it.
We can already make it?
We just have to wait for the hops. So
Yeah, because beer is
Are we growing
so
hops
I
in
can't even
the
buy it.
greenhouse by chance? Growing hops in the greenhouse by chance? I don't think we have the
Not all.
seeds yet.
No.
You old bastard.
Okay, can I craft a dang tapper yet? No, because I need the wood.
Do we have clay?
Yep.
Okay.
Not
I'm
much,
just gonna-
but
Well, the wood's
I
in
just
the
need
chest.
2.
Oh, I need 40
there's
wood.
2
That's
in
fine.
the wood chest, I think.
Really, dude?
Oh, there's 1 now in the wood chest. Don't know where the other one went.
What was it?
Clay. Oh, there's 42 in the mining chest. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
we
gonna
got
say,
some.
there's clay somewhere.
I just need 2.
I got
My
you,
nails are getting
friend.
too long to play Stardew. This is the problem.
Oh, Mono, I can't place it in your house. I got like a single bed that you can put here if you want.
Oh, can you put it in the chest?
I could. I got it from the machine, so.
Which chest did you put it in?
Right, this one.
I don't.
Alright. So
I
we
need
have
your fat ass to move,
Yeah, you
dude.
could put
another
it,
bed.
oh, no.
for the-
You could put it right here. So
Thank
if you're late, you can just like.
Alright. Oh, can I rotate it? Can you rotate
Yeah, with
it?
the right mouse button.
No. It's not
Alright.
rotating.
Ah, fuck.
I'm gonna make our tried powdered melon.
Yeah.
Never mind. I can put it in my own house later. then.
Okay. Let's just go make it a guest bed, but yeah. There we go. We'll just put it back in the
There we
I'll
go.
put it in the trunk and you can grab it out.
Alright, I got some powdered melons drying so I can give them to the
Why were you talking about me?
friends.
We were
'Cause we
talking
can.
we were talking about 6 actually.
Are you a powdered melon?
We were talking about 6.
She could be a powdered melon. I'm
I
sure
mean, we
she's
do
cute.
talk about you all the time now, so it surprised me. But the reference was about 6. I was
Tomorrow's
asking
my
if he's doing
birthday in
okay.
Stardew.
Ew.
It's time.
Yay.
What the heck
Do we
is
have
that?
a cactus fruit hanging around somewhere?
No, you want to make the salad. Where's the dog? Where's my letter? There's no letter. Why is there no
Spirits
letter?
are displeased today.
Let's
Maybe.
see.
Maybe because we didn't pet the cat or something. Who knows?
I did.
Additional pet do not have to be constructed before adopting more pets from Marnie's ranch.
Oh. From Marnie, huh? It said we get a letter from Marnie again.
No. So this is according to the Stardew Wiki.
I'm off to Marnie.
Marnie's ranch. Pet adoption. After a player reaches maximum friendship with their first pet or reaches year 2 without having a pet, they can purchase pet licenses to adopt additional pets. Constructing an additional pet bowl for each pet is not necessary.
What? So we spend that money on wood for nothing?
But it does not prevent friendship loss. But it does prevent. Yeah. Okay.
We didn't have to buy that stuff.
Nope.
You actually do need the pet bowl because the friendship will decline
Right.
with it by 10 points. So.
Hook.
Well,
I need Pam to get her butt here so I can make some cactus fruit jelly for these damn raccoons.
All right.
Sam needs to get here so we can put batteries in the bus. Is that what you're doing? Or just trying to take the bus?
I'm trying to take the bus.
See. Oh, I don't want to eat the cheese. I'll have to get the tools out. Oh, wrong. Okay. Tools acquired. Sneaky thing. Move when I try. Oh, I swear, this cow.
What do we do with this star drop tea?
I don't know actually.
It's a very Oh, and what does Caroline like? Because I need a gift for her.
Oh, let me look up again.
Baby pig, big pig.
Caroline. So her favorites are fish taco, green tea, summer spangle, and tropical curry.
Nice.
Which we don't have any of that. Though
I think I the flower, right? It's the summer spangle.
Come back.
Do you have summer
I
spangle?
have one.
That's what everyone loves.
Nice.
Otherwise, she likes
Okay.
daffodil, tea leaves, and wild horseradish. And all universal likes.
Purchase animals. No. Any supply shop?
I don't think she has a license. It's a license.
A license?
Yeah, it's a pet license, so I wonder if we have to wait until year 2 anyway.
I got the lucky shorts.
Oh, thank God Pam's here. Let's go. I'm going to the desert.
Go.
I need my cactus fruit. Winter here in the desert looks a little hot.
Really? I mean, yeah, they don't really have winter in the desert.
No, they don't. Really don't. It does get cold though. Sometimes. There you go, cactus fruit.
Do this.
Alright. Now I can go back. Just needed a
Nice.
cactus fruit.
This.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think I checked the TV today.
I thought you did. But...
Hype.
Oh, nice of you to be down here, Sebastian.
I'm gonna move this.
I think luck is bad today, though.
Yes, they're just
Luckily, only Sam caught me digging through the trash and not Sebastian.
fine.
He'd be like, yeah, trash panda.
Uh-huh. Gotcha. Hugs? Yes. Standing on
Clint,
a
where are
hill.
ya? I got some shorts.
I'll give you this thing. There you go.
What if I gifted to the granny the shorts? I don't know where Clint is.
What is that? Corn juice.
It's something
got corn
shining there,
juice.
Dan.
I made corn juice.
Nice.
Corn. Got the
There.
juice.
Gold in them there heels.
that
Found
good?
Reese's? Oh, please share. What's a Reese's?
I can live without
Okay.
Reese's. Unless they're the minis. I like the Reese minis, but I don't like Reese's otherwise. I might
Where's
be weird.
Clint? Oh, shells.
Your butt? I don't know.
I'm changing chairs too because I realize I'm sitting so low. It's hard to do what I'm
It's
doing.
hurting you.
It would have been nice
No,
that
no,
in
no, she's
winter,
not
if these are
not
like
for you,
frozen, that they
right?
would be like frozen over so you could walk over them.
Reese, artists, Reese's are not for you.
Anyone seen Clint?
Nope.
Oh my god! We got a big read! And welcome!
Hey, you found
Welcome,
one.
readers! Welcome in! Welcome! Hope you're doing awesome! Welcome to the stream! Hi! It's so good to see you! I hope you had a wonderful stream. Let's get a shout out. Do it. Shout out.
There he is.
Thank you, Sticks. Thank you so much. Just wanted to share some love. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Welcome to the G. Playing Call of Dragons, nice. So you used to play Stardew every Sunday. I remember. So yeah, welcome in everyone. And I'm a variety streamer if you're new here. Things like Stardew Valley, community games, things like that. Also, I do art streams. So, we're here raising money for St. Jude's. Get back here, Fly. Welcome, Raiders. Yes, I hope you're having an amazing time in Stardew. Of course, always. Love me some Stardew. I'm just trying to gather some copper right now. I need copper, I need iron, I need all the things. And, you know, it's easy to lose track of time in these mines as well. But, welcome, everyone.
I got some copper and iron from the quarry.
Did you? Nice.
Just a little.
You need it. I don't need the copper for the tappers because we need more tappers. So and wood, but I
I
can't.
have 2 copper and 3 iron.
But I can't really do them until the trees start growing again.
No,
I
there's
hate to
trees in
raid
the
and run,
quarry.
but I have to go to dinner with my family. Oh, have a wonderful dinner, and thank you again so much. Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank
There's
you.
4
I hope
full-grown
you have
trees in the
a
quarry.
wonderful
Mona.
dinner, and
Oh.
thank you again. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, the problem is our wood shortage right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Because I can't make tappers without wood. So.
Oh, where's the one you made? 25
I
was
didn't
enough,
make one.
right?
No, you have to have 40.
Oh. Well, I guess I could cut one of them and see if that will give us enough.
One might.
Because I
Thank
got
you
the
for the
bonus for
lyric.
chopping.
Appreciate
So.
it.
Okay, there we go.
There's never a wood shortage. Oh my gosh. What conversation are we having here, sir?
16 wood.
So I have a cactus
Mm.
fruit jelly in the being made in the preserve jar.
Poke catch, guys.
Mhm.
If you're
So
catching
when that is
Pokemon.
made, Mono has to take it to the raccoons.
I
So
have
it's the
21
can
Mono. I have
capture it on
21
stream.
wood now, so now we
Okay,
have
sweet.
46. So we need 4 more.
Oh, I find a red mushroom in the mine, but I don't find the purple one. Rude.
I got it. I got 50 exactly.
Okay.
I chopped the sapling. Sorry, sapling. No life
Did
for you.
it? There. Poke catch. Giggity.
Oh, you can do 1 tree at the bus stop. That's also one of those trees.
Oh, that would be closer too.
That's closer.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, I did not want to make this. I
What did
missed
you
it.
make up?
Look what I made. I made a recycling machine.
Just what we need. No, that's fine.
I just
Jeez.
clicked. My mouse double clicked instead of 1 click into the chest.
Is your mouse misbehaving? Because remember mine was doing that, and I found out it was because the battery seemed to have changed or whatever.
It's wired.
Hmm.
What the fuck am I gonna do with this? Can't I, like, escape it?
You can know. You can just add it to the lineup for the recycle machines, and we'll just recycle more stuff. It's all good. Alright, now.
Sad.
What
I
did
just
it do
got
with
enough
my...
wood. Well, I guess I can chop 1 more tree.
My
It doesn't
exit
matter
route
anyway.
is missing.
They're gonna grow soon enough anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean, when we
what do we need
change
all the maple
seasons...
for?
You
We
can
need it
craft
for
different
the
things with
bear.
maple.
For the what?
Oh, no, you need honey for the bear, but you can craft
No,
things with...
he wants maple.
Oh, is it maple? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, different sticky substances are good for crafting.
Okay. Okay, we're back.
I just keep
26
everything.
wood.
I'm a hoarder. I keep all the things.
You
Some
gotta
of
be
everything.
very
I don't want to
careful.
have 0 of nothing. Of something. I have 0 of something that I immediately needed. I immediately needed them.
Tapper.
I'm like,
Tapper has
no.
been made. Oh, it's 40 wood.
Mm-hmm. Who said 40?
Yeah, I thought I heard
Mm-mm.
not that you said it, but I heard 50 in my head.
Nah.
It's not a
I feel
raccoon.
it. The raccoon.
Or I mean, no, it's kind of like
Oh, the
a
possum?
yeah.
The possum?
So I'm putting it at the bus stop. There's a tapper
Okay.
extra now.
There's some copper. Oh no, it's getting late. Did y'all
That is
need
why I'm already in
amethyst?
bed.
Isn't that what you needed? Amethyst?
Yep.
So we do need amethyst.
Oh, there's
That
3. There's
too.
enough for us all. Right
There.
now.
I used my magic totem and I'm coming home.
Eh. Can we
Had a bunch of them.
reproduce amethyst?
Hmm. Dun, 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 dun. And I did all that. Go to sleep.
Are we just selling all the shells
Yeah.
at the moment?
Yeah. Might
Not
as
unless
well.
you just have some in your fishing trunk or something other. But yeah, you can sell.
Okay, we got amethyst. I'm gonna pick up the flower already for. Oh no, 25th.
Wait, I thought we needed a nautilus shell. For the center.
Oh, take it out if it's still there.
I don't think we do anymore.
This is the one Caroline wants, right? The summer spangle.
Yeah.
I got 2. Doesn't matter what color.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Does not matter the color.
Oh, bed. Crap.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Just go in your house. You're fine. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I fell
she
asleep
does
on the
quite
floor.
make it to the bed.
I didn't make the bed
Close.
either. I went into the house and that's it.
Wait, oh my gosh. All the raids.
You're welcome, Sky.
I get a shout out for Sky. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome Sky. I hope you're doing awesome. I hope you had an awesome stream. Welcome Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Pacific
I
Drive.
have to get
Ooh.
Elamir too. I don't remember if we got her or not.
We did. Thank you. Doesn't hurt again. But yeah, thank you guys for all the raids. Thank you. Welcome everyone. Welcome to my stream. I'm a variety streamer. I play games like, tonight, Stardew Valley, which is super relaxing, and I can be seen playing community night games as well as doing art on stream. I feel like that. I think, oh, the farming is going well. It is. Thank you. Are you running, Splints? Are you running while you run?
No running. I
No
hugged him
run?
and he's like, no run.
Oh, he enjoyed
It's
the
my
hug.
birthday.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome
Happy
everyone.
in-game birthday.
Yeah.
Hope you're all having a relaxing Sunday. Now I get back to some stuff. But yeah, if you have any questions about Stardew, I'll do my best to answer. Right now we're playing Vanilla Year 1, and I do have a game on Friday that has limited hacks or mods to it, and I haven't played my all-out mod stream in a while, but yeah. Let's see. Should I push the button? Are you guys here?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, there we are. I got off the Discord screen and couldn't see. There we go. It's back to you. You're welcome. I have 2 whole pieces of wood, and it's Sunday, so I'm gonna check Queen of Sauce. Mouth-watering recipe for my secret cook this week's dish is pumpkin pie. You learned how to cook pumpkin pie.
Mm.
You know, we
Not very
could
pie.
start taking
Good
all
year.
that food that's in the middle one and put it in the fridge now.
Alright.
I keep forgetting we have a kitchen now, and that's what the middle one's for. take there. Anyway, I'm ready now to do some hardwood.
I had to leave
About
my
10
thing in it.
pieces. She wants
Oh, why do
like
we have the periwinkle in here?
Oh, I put 2 in those, and there's one.
Robin
in the
wants
chest
10
down
pieces
there.
of hardwood
I
from
don't know.
each of us. She's crazy.
Spirit saying good Yuma.
I'm gonna
There's a letter.
take my...
There's a letter. There's a letter.
You have a letter?
Okay, that's a really annoying spot for the dog pen,
You
though.
could probably put some of that stuff in there
Hope
too.
winter hasn't been anyway. Writing you for some hardwood. Robin needs 10
Please.
pieces of hardwood. I'll give you some hardwood.
Bitch. I guess I should organize some of this, huh?
Making me all excited
Yeah.
for getting a dog.
I'm gonna
all
organize
good.
it.
Don't ask about some of the items I've put in here. Just go with it.
I'm still gonna organize it.
Oh no! I got rid of my frozen tear somewhere.
There's enough. Rain put them in the
Okay.
multiplier.
I think I must have sold it. Hi!
This
Hi,
bitch.
hi! Welcome,
I was trying to
welcome.
organize
How
things,
are you
ma'am.
doing?
Oh no.
I didn't do anything.
I'm trying to organize and I can't because you're in the fucking kitchen.
Oh, I was just looking to see what the things were that we've unlocked. We've unlocked a few, but I have, but nothing I can actually make. Doing great when fishing today? Nice. Fishing sounds fun and relaxing. I actually enjoy fishing. It's very relaxing. Oh, I'm gonna steal all these eggs from the coop today and bring them over to the fridge. I'm not going to turn them into mayonnaise today. They're getting picked up and used for fridge production and things. Because I noticed a lot of the things we can make has to do with eggs.
Yeah.
Except for, avoid eggs. We can't eat those.
Fridge.
Those are poisonous.
Yeah. I'm like
Oh,
trying to organize these.
Fly fish, and today we are doing tenkara. A lot more interactive. Oh yeah, I'm not familiar with. I haven't done any of that. I just do the regular. It sounds difficult. Sounds like a challenge for sure. Okay, I think I set high. Everybody. Okay, now these.
Orange
void
Kitty
eggs.
loves you.
Oh, that's what we needed to wait for.
Oh, we didn't have quite enough hearts yet, I guess, or full love as we thought we had.
Yay!
Alright,
Yeah, if the fish don't want to play, they don't play. This is true. You have
alright.
to hope they're hungry.
They are organized. Do not just throw shit in there.
Which
I'm
one?
gonna throw crap in the first
no?
one I come to.
No. Put them in order.
I see it. Produce.
What are you talking about?
Foraging.
Well, no. So the big fridge has the vegetables. The next one over has the fruits. Then you have your forageables. And then you have your artisan goods.
And artisan goods. Okay, so cheese is an artisan good. And eggs is artisan good.
Artisan is, well,
Animal products.
they're part of animal. You could probably put them in the forage one.
Okay.
Since we technically foraged them from the animal.
Whoa! How are these both empty? Oh, they're all in the
Okay.
fridge.
Yeah.
It was a big shock. I was like, what the fuck?
And do we need mayonnaise to craft anything?
I don't know, but I can live there.
We got some
I'll put the mayonnaise
oak
in there
resin.
anyway.
Wait,
Why
these
not?
are oak.
Gosh.
It's oak.
I can make eggs.
Yeah.
That's not a maple tree.
No. That's okay.
And then I can put the eggs in there because I think you have to have cooked eggs or something.
No, Rain. We thought all these
How
were
many
maple
valley
trees. We did it all
farmings
way.
How many valley farming doing? How is
I
valley?
thought we needed the
Oh,
oak
where is?
ones. I remember you guys specifically saying that we needed
It's
oak.
been good.
Oh,
We
then
need-
we're good. Okay.
We
Yeah.
need 40 oak for tappers, and we need
We just
10
need the maple.
hardwood for Robin.
We just need
Wait.
the maple syrup for
Who needs
the
the
stupid bit.
amethyst?
Emily. It goes to Emily.
Oh. Which one's Emily again?
Blue hair.
Oh, I bet that's where I put my frozen tears back in the chest.
Oh, I need to grab a hot pepper.
Oh, that's Abigail.
Abigail has the purple hair. Blue hair is
Oh, the kid,
Emily.
the tiny
It's
kid.
going good. We're doing good.
No.
We got
Oh,
our biggest barn
No.
already. Our
Emily's
biggest
currently
tool
wearing a red hat.
already. We've got the greenhouse
Right.
already. And
But she only has
spoilers, you
blue
know,
hair.
it's winter. Spoilers. We won't talk about it.
oh, yep, found her. I think.
But yeah, it's
we
going
have a few
good. We got all
days.
kinds of stuff going on.
Yay.
I don't know if we've been here in 2 days.
And then I'm gonna throw these flowers into this
Ooh,
one.
There's one piece. Yeah. And I don't know who is planting seeds or not, but we can do more seeds in the greenhouse again.
Yeah. If you have any powdered seeds, today is the last day for them.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
don't put them in the ground. Don't
Oh,
put them in
oh.
the ground.
Well,
Or
no,
do
for
put
the
them in the
powder melon.
No, it's
yeah,
28
we-
days. It's not 30. Isn't it?
No, it said it was 7 days.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So if we planted today, they'll be good on the 28th.
They'll be ready. Okay.
But we can't plant. This is the last
Yep.
day for them.
Yep, 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 yep.
Okay. We're gonna
Ew, he called me miss. Ugh.
It's going good. Farm life is going great. Beep, 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 beep. I'm just being silly.
Yeah, a little low on hay, but that's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. By the time the next season gets here. Alright, I got some bars crafting. I think it's time to. Wow, that was fast.
Wow, artist, I'm really getting you today.
Maybe they craft faster? I guess so. Maybe have more advanced crafting skills.
How dare Robin not here?
We have 3 recycle things and all the things to recycle. So I'm gonna grab these. Put them in
One
here.
heart away.
One
You
heart
know,
away.
I think you can. You should be able to buy the bouquet already from here, maybe.
Really?
I missed something.
I think so.
Where do I buy it?
Wow.
From Pierre, the general store.
Oh my gosh. I get it now. Momo, an artist.
What?
Oh my god.
Oh, there she is.
I wasn't paying attention, so
Right. But yes, welcome everyone that is lurking and listening. We are
Cryptic
raising money
note.
for
Alright.
St. Jude. I think our next goal unlocks a drawing poll where I get 10 minutes to do a drawing. But we haven't decided what that drawing is going to be. Choodle has been caught by artist? Yeah. I didn't catch it. There's the possum. It is the thing, I swear.
I thought we had already opened this.
Only half paying attention. That's all good.
Is it-
he's so cute.
Right?
I want a possum. I'll be friends with the
Can we
possum.
make him a pet? No. We can make ostriches as pets, though.
And we are befriending the raccoon and his wife.
Right.
Mhm.
What more do we need? The jelly, right?
Yeah, just the jelly. So
Oh,
we
that
just
was
need
the thing.
Mono to take it.
Wait, it's
Oh,
already
is
done.
it ready?
Is it done?
I don't know. I didn't take
Okay.
any.
The cactus jelly?
Where was it in?
It was in the top left one.
I didn't pick anything from that one, I think.
Okay.
It's probably still making. Yeah.
Because I only had pickles, like old
Okay.
pickles.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nothing yet.
Yeah. Still.
Let's see. Go to yeah. Level 50. See if we can get some iron today. Tap copper. Let's work on the iron.
I put the periwinkle into the mining chest since I think we have to have it for making
Okay.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we got 2 in my chest because we were hoarding them.
I just picked up a couple more, so.
Michigan! Gun show? Okay, I got you, man. It's gonna be a Pikachu. Kimonochu one. It's gonna be kind of fluffy and frumpy. You know. Okay. Yeah, give me a hot second. No,
No.
guys.
Come on, but
Get back here. Hi. Hi already. And then pew. Pew.
Ow.
Alright, dude. But yeah, I got you, Michigan. Just give me a hot minute. Get out of here.
Oh. And because I started making a thing, I can finally use my birthday gift from Kimono.
Oh! Yeah! How do you think about that?
Yeah.
What is
Finally
it?
use
Oh, is it
It's
a
a yarn
crafting?
holder.
Is
Yeah.
it open? I guess
With
there's
all my
nothing in
yarn
there.
stuff. And actually, because I'm using beads,
Nice. Oh my god, what is this
I
place?
have a thing
Overrun
full of
with
my beads
monsters.
and my stitch markers in here.
You
Yeah.
think?
Ooh.
Last time I went to one of these, I killed every monster, and then there was no escape route. So,
Sleepy time.
yeah.
Where am I at on this?
What's that?
Yeah, I'm on that one. So what I need.
Da-da-da-da-da.
But it's gonna be a nice blanket. I don't know if you
I
actually
like
thought,
it.
Momo, but
That's
it's
really
gonna
cool
be like
idea.
it's gonna be a weighted blanket, but it's also like I can fidget with the beads and
I
like
have
turn
never
them and
seen
stuff.
one of those.
I saw it on TikTok. I'm like, shit, I want to make one of
Yeah.
those. So,
Oh, there's
so I'm
me.
doing.
Oh, no. Anyway,
It's almost one.
I'm running. All right.
My way. I just did some. I was trying to get my
Hoeing.
level up for farming, so I just went
Oh
and did
yeah.
some hoeing. Waiting for my ladder to get a pet. Please.
For her to tell us.
Did you also get the love kitty thingy, or was it just me?
It popped up for all of us, I think.
Because strong. It makes me look strong, right? All this extra padding from the Pikachu outfit. Da-da-da-da-da. A sailing spaceship begin. Hi. I really need to use the ladies' room, but I can start the day.
Let's
Just
see
hit
if
yes
there's
to
a
go back to bed for now.
pet.
Oh, I have to run.
Look,
I have a
Summer.
letter. I have a letter.
Woo!
From what I can tell, you've been taking really good care of your pet. I'm really happy about that. But there are many sweet animals that need a home. If you're interested, I'll start offering pet adoptions at my shop. Just be aware that there's a licensing fee and also that each pet will want their own outdoor pet bowl area. Or else they'll be unhappy. Robin will be happy to construct. Yay, Marnie! I'm gonna visit Marnie soon. So, Rain, if you was that 120?
I think all we have to do is get a fee. Like we just have to pay the fee for it.
No, and you need the area, or they'll
Oh
be
yeah,
unhappy.
yeah. How much was the?
5,000, and it was how much wood? Was it hardwood?
I think it might have been hardwood.
What was the
Pet
thing with the
ball.
powder melon? Shit, I forgot. Did
It's
I too late?
25. It is too late. Don't plant them.
Oh no, it was the planting thing, right?
Yeah. So I need 25 hardwood,
What is in there?
14, and I still need 10 for.
But I have the
give
axe. I
the
can
rub.
get more.
Oh yeah. I don't have the regular.
I haven't been there in a while, so.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I want the pet bowl more than I want to give the hardwood to Robin for
Yeah, of course.
the thing. Like, she's fine.
You could.
Yeah, I mean, we can totally do the Robin thing after y'all do the pet bowl because there's not time on that. So.
And that way we can each have our own pet.
Yay!
Mhm.
Is she there today?
I'll start offering pet adoptions.
Robin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Marnie,
Marnie?
Monday and Tuesday,
Yeah.
no. Monday and Tuesday, no. She's a slacker.
It's always when you finally get something in this game.
Of course, that's the
And
day they're closed.
Do we need the oranges?
Yeah.
Not yet. Are we gonna need them at some point?
Save it. Yeah. Put in the kitchen fridge. I don't know.
What?
You can put them in the fridge.
Oh, there.
What?
We still have produce in here for the
The
Oh
machines?
yeah, for
The
our
preserves?
machines.
yeah, preserves.
Yeah.
That's fine.
We need produce for preserves. We want to keep making all the produce.
I'm just gonna wait for you to go get your or go get the hardwood because I can't chop it.
Yep.
If you're the only one, we all need hardwood for everything. We're all
You
depending
need
on
my
you.
hardwood.
Yes, we
Always.
do. No pressure. We all need you to perform at your best.
I don't know why, but it made me splash artist again.
Oh no.
Making her
Oh,
wet.
beef has it.
Yep. She's wet, excited.
Let's see.
Wait.
All boob.
I'm on my way. Oh, that needs another spot.
Look.
There's no way to walk downstairs right now from the frog down. Didn't we have a better hoe?
Bod
Or
needs
just
to chill.
a simple hoe?
Right?
We had a better hoe. I just don't know who has it.
I have a normal
I thought we
hoe.
had a better. I thought we had a better hoe. I don't.
What do you want? Which one do you, or was that in the other game?
That could be the other.
I don't know.
Oh, look
It
at
might
him
be
and his
mine.
wifey.
So young to
aren't
be
they cute?
shared. Well,
Where
that
are
angle
those
he was
food?
standing, he
Where's
sure was
Jelly?
pretty wide.
How does that jelly neat?
I don't know. It takes like 2 or 3 days, I think, for jellies.
Ah, there was still some wood here. Normal ones.
Don't feel like dealing with it.
All right.
Probably from when we got that green rain at one point.
Could be, yeah.
Probably.
Forgot I didn't have an iridescent
Green
sword.
rain.
There's some artifacts there too. Or are they the grassies?
Those are the worm things.
There is actually one piece of hardwood behind the cow barn, just so you know. It's just hidden.
Can't get to it, can we?
Yeah, you can get to it. We just have to have the tool to chop it. I don't have the tool to chop it.
Gotcha. I'm sure we'll get some more when spring comes anyway.
Yeah, I was just telling Momo since she's doing all the chopping, so she knows it's back there.
How much wood did the woodchuck chuck? Nothing, because Momo got it all.
And there we go.
There's so many wormses. Mahogany. Oh dear. So what are you up to in the game? Rain.
Me?
Yeah.
Just waiting.
For what? For the hardwood?
Yeah.
No fishing?
No.
He's tired.
All fished out.
A little bit.
It's about time to call it anyway. This will probably be the last
No, I
one.
need my dog. I need my dog.
Uh-huh.
Come.
After you get your dog, then we'll call it. How's
Thank
that
you.
sound?
Yeah. And I gotta get my
He's
cat.
like,
So I
you
gotta
gotta
get
get
my
your
cat.
dog. Okay.
Nicole.
Once you
and my
guys get
cat.
your pets, then we're gonna call it. Because my goal is always to end at 6, and it's 6:08 now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, 3 hours. That's the goal. And then end early on Sundays, so I can actually,
Mhm.
you know, attempt to go to sleep early for work.
Oh shit. Don't kill me now.
Why? No, I didn't mean to
Oh,
do
no.
that. Oh,
I think
no.
Robin's is gonna close soon anyway.
It didn't pick up either.
What do you mean it's gonna? Oh. Oh no. I'm done.
Yeah, he
Shit.
was fighting slimes.
I know. I got sidetracked. I got 17. You
Dang
need
it.
20 though.
Okay.
I
I
need
know where to
25
choose
and I have
this.
14 and I have 53.
Making my way downtown.
There's an extra piece down here. Don't let's be collected.
But you can still. There you are. There you are. Can I just drop
No,
it?
it just destroys
I might
it.
be able to.
Dang it, because
Yeah.
it's a gold pickaxe.
Fine.
Well, that's a problem.
She's closed already.
Oh, probably.
Double check though.
But do you?
Maybe.
Yeah, you already had the Love Orange Kitty one.
Maybe we can do a makeshift thing. I don't have the iron to make things right now.
I'm sorry, Rain.
Okay.
We're gonna just like put that there. There we go. I wonder if that would work as a fence replacement piece because, yeah, looks like it works. I don't have enough iron to keep making stuff.
Ah, fuck, yeah, it's too late. She left.
Put them there. Put them in the chest there near her. So yeah. So we can't use it for something else. And next time you're close, you can just.
Oh. There's a thing there?
There's a chest in front of Robin's.
Hi, Brooke. My cat has come to.
Just put the 20 there, and then you're good.
There
You're
isn't a
good.
chest here.
Does it make
I forgot to
collected
go
off
to
the
Pierre's
beach in a
too
while?
for the for some beer.
Well,
I'll
if
just
anybody
leave it in my
goes that way,
inventory.
check the beach.
You could, yeah. You're
Because
No,
there's no
that's-
chest there.
I have a thing for you.
What? Did they
Yeah.
walk it off?
No, I don't think so.
There was a chest in front of. Oh, we forgot the bookseller.
That's okay.
Okay. We can't afford the bookseller yet anyway.
Yeah, true. So the bouquet, does it count as a gift towards Sebastian?
I don't think so.
Yes.
I think that's its own
Michigan
thing.
kisses Michigan on the cheek. Hug. Hugs Michigan. Licks artist. Yep. Boops the bot. Guys, my wife is
It
gonna
was
get
right.
jealous.
Yeah,
Are you sure she'll get jealous, or she'll just be like, more the merrier?
What am I getting get jealous about?
That we're licking artists.
Oh, that's okay. We have our own little harem going over in our little dead inside club. It's fine. It's just a little harem here.
Let's see. Come on, Spooky. Time to die. Thank you.
Are children
needed
of the
that.
what now? They're all just standing there in their room. What the hell?
Let me do that.
Oh.
Strange people.
Get back here and die.
So is
Ooh, a
Marnie
monster
there
book.
tomorrow?
No.
Then you're fine. It doesn't matter that you're
Yeah.
late today.
That.
Because you can't get the... It's instant. The doghouse.
Yes.
The house.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get...
Now we can go back to work.
No, I don't want to eat the corn.
And actually,
But it's
use
corn.
this.
I know.
Look,
Got the juice.
didn't have to do it that way, but there we go. Yeah, monster skills. You learned a new power.
Anyone going to Skull Cavern yet?
No,
This will die.
I don't really have the
It's
right
the-
weapons and stuff. Yeah. I have to start crafting Iridian junk for that. Well, that
All
mod
we
is
really
duty.
need to do is just craft a shit ton of staircases.
Yeah.
True.
And then just have someone protect
Oh,
you.
I got carrot seeds. You know what that means, guys? Almost spring.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Bats.
So where do we put
New
the
ideas.
periwinkles now?
Dang, I'm doing all the things.
I've been putting them in the mining chest. I don't remember what we need them
Mining?
to craft for.
Where's the
not get this
staircase?
Oh, it's for...
Yeah.
What are we crafting?
What is the ladder?
I don't remember what they're used for crafting, but
What is it?
the periwinkle.
Periwinkles?
We decided we don't remember. It's on a different game save.
Oh, I'm gonna look it up. Because we need to know.
Because y'all want to use them for something else.
No.
Or y'all just obsessed with selling them.
No? I don't want to sell them. I just want to know where they're supposed to be. Oh, we got wood from trash. Oh, 12 a.m.
Oh, I got a diamond.
Oh, it's actually not used to make anything.
Oh. I thought it was.
Like, we can use it for fish stew, maki roll, quality
food.
fertilizer, which is any fish,
Mm.
sashimi,
Okay.
and then the strange bun requires
It must have been
periwinkle.
the quality fertilizer that I was saving it for.
Yeah, for any fish. But then we can also use it to make a raincoat for
Ooh.
tailoring.
It's almost bedtime.
So we should save them.
Almost
Yeah.
bedtime. Bedtime. Bedtime.
But we really
oh,
only needed
I
them
left
for
my
the
warp
raccoon.
totem somewhere. I thought I had it on me. I think I just when I hit the all to the chest
Yep.
button, I think it dropped it in
That's
there
some.
because there's some in the chest.
You can still make it to inside the house,
Yeah.
probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm fine. I can make it a bed.
There you are.
Hi, wifey.
Hello.
Well,
Aw.
you're not my wife in this game.
We're nose to nose.
Rude. I was just about to message you when you were playing again. Hello. I'm playing now.
Elf hug.
That's funny. Craft new recipe warrior ring. Ooh. I wonder what rings I'm wearing. I wonder.
Not in a pool.
Sorry.
I splashed him.
I want to know.
Wakey, wakey.
Wearing.
Oh shit,
Oh, it takes
Robin isn't
10.
even at our home today either.
I said that.
Occasionally fuses the wearer
So it
with
doesn't.
warrior
Oh
energy
wait,
after slaying
Robin.
a monster.
No, but it doesn't matter. You can still
Oh.
get the dog
Okay.
or the cat.
We need to infinitely
Yeah.
make
If you
those
don't have
frozen
the home.
tears.
No,
Warrior
no.
ring. He's
No. The cactus
time.
jelly is ready.
No, let's go.
Yay! Lurk,
Thank
thank
you,
you for Lurk. No,
Garthon.
thank you, thank you, thank you. We're gonna go see the raccoons if you're curious. You guys lurking? Is this the cactus jelly?
No. Jelly, not juice.
Cactus root jelly. Alright, let's go see raccoons.
Wait for me.
Come on, Momo.
I have tiny legs.
We all have tiny legs.
Not IRL. I do.
Oh.
Yes.
Alright, they're so cute. Alright, you just hand it to them or no? You click on them and talk.
You have to do the.
It's like in
Yeah,
the community
hungry.
center.
Need
Community
fruit.
center. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Dun, 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 dun,
We got it. Now what does it say? Raccoon thanks Bobo. Take this. Bobo?
Yeah, it's been calling us Bobo.
My name is now Bobo, okay. Ooh,
Look at
raccoon
you.
journal. The raccoon shop has been expanded. You found a
Ooh.
copy of a raccoon journal.
Raccoon.
They have
Well, I can-
seats and a rec. Yeah.
You can now
We need
start a family. Oh my god.
You can
be babies?
exchange
Just give us
stuff.
fiber and stuff.
How
Oh
do you?
my goodness.
1,000
fiber, and we can get the journal.
I have the journal.
All these sweet babies.
But do I just read it?
Yeah, just read it.
Wait, you already bought it?
No,
she
I got a free
automatically
one.
Got it.
What did you get?
Learn a new power.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't
who
hover
knows?
over it?
It's probably like
so what
foraging.
it does, weeds have a greater chance to yield mixed seeds.
So it's probably for everybody. No, I guess not. Yeah,
No,
raccoon, journal, broccoli, powder melons, so you can grow all. That's cool that you can get the seasonal foraging items in here. That's cool. Not that we really need them, but that's cool.
No. Yeah,
It's
but
gonna
if we
start
want
a
to
family.
specialize in those things or whatever.
So do we get baby raccoons then?
Gonna start
Probably.
a family soon.
Rabies. Michigan goes rabies. He's worried about the rabies now.
So we can just sleep through the rest of the day, right?
I'll get the hardwood though, and then.
Oh
Yeah.
Probably a good
Go
idea.
harvest all the hardwood, and then we'll sleep. And did you get your pet yet? Or how long
And I
does
need
that
to.
take?
No,
and I need
but
to go.
because Marnie and Robin aren't gonna be.
Someone needs
Oh,
to go
until
into the
tomorrow.
greenhouse then.
Yeah.
To harvest the if there's gold harvest.
Yep, I was gonna check that here shortly. I was throwing some stuff into the thing.
I don't want to accidentally hurt somebody. There.
Nope, that was.
Artist is getting
Too
all the
many
love today
things.
from me.
Alright, that one's
All
done.
the
That one's
splashes, all the
done.
licks.
Done. Gonna love all the chickens.
Well, we only need 4 more gold things to be pulled, so
Mm-hmm.
here we go. I harvested what I could.
4 more gold things for the gold doohickey.
Bulletin.
Ah, gold quality vegetables.
Yep.
Cool.
Then we get another ticket, right?
Alright. Boop. And boop, boop.
Think so.
And
Yeah.
boop.
I'm just gonna go put these down here for now.
I guess we'll just stick it in there. Let's see.
17 hardwood.
Oh, I'll just put it there because we'll eventually need several of those.
What is Jazz like? Holly? Sure. Is this a gift? Oh. Well, you're welcome,
Apparently
cunt.
not.
Fecking cunt.
Ungrateful children.
Yeah. Mona, do you remember if we had a better hoe? Because this hoe ain't hoeing.
Oh wait, let me look. What color is yours? Or
Normal.
what's it called?
Silver. It's just hoe.
There should
Yeah.
be
Mine's just a hoe too, I
copper
think.
hoe.
Mine's just a hoe.
Don't have a
So
copper hoe.
No,
Copper
I don't
steel.
think so. You can check
Okay.
and see what characters had what on them by going to what's his name or whatever.
Oh yeah, the mayor.
Go to the
What does
mayor and
this
see if
mean?
somebody has it.
Oh, that's the secret thing. Yeah. What
Oh.
is this?
Oh, your thing. I think that has to do with the way of the wind thing, maybe?
This? Wave the
Mhm.
wind?
Yeah.
And recycle.
I mean, I could. Oh, I can't make it now anymore, I think, to cleanse. Oh, I can, actually. We could upgrade a hoe for next season already. Might be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Copper. Let's go running. Might not make it.
Yeah.
Might make it.
Well, if you take the bus stop to
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't
Okay.
craft anything that requires wood right now, so y'all can use all the bars for whatever right now. There ain't no point.
No,
I
it's
just keep-
it's for the I need the copper.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I'm saying you can use the bars for whatever you
Wait.
want right now, because there's no wood for me to do my job. What was
These are
that?
some-
Saw something in
what?
the corner of my eye.
Oh.
Okay. So how many more gold items do you need?
4.
4.
Do you want me to just grab 4 out of our gold item thing?
No, we need to harvest
We had to
them.
harvest them. These ones are the harvest.
Oh.
Yep.
We already had 25 gold vegetables.
We have more than
Uh,
25.
But you have to
Yeah.
physically
Mo.
harvest them for it to
Oh,
count.
25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
let's
had
see.
the 2 different bars.
There's 36 wood, Mono. So
Mm.
I need
I
40.
don't know.
Oh.
Well, just kill a sapling.
Yeah.
And
No!
then you'll have.
Just
If
make
I kill a
Next
sapling, it's
shuttle
4.
shuffle. Welcome. I love that. I love the pink Togepi. So
Togepi.
cute. Oh my
Anyone
gosh.
ever go in this cavern anymore?
I love
Hmm?
the Togepi.
Not really.
Adorable.
I haven't
Hello.
been checking on the
How are
back.
you doing?
Ooh.
And then a wild Pokemon appeared.
Azrael?
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Dang it. I'm on the wrong thing. I was trying to check.
Said meow.
Apparently, I'm choosing to meow 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 right now. But yeah, welcome to the stream.
You now have
Shuffle.
14, Mom.
I hope you're doing awesome.
You wanted to make another tap or what?
Yeah,
I think so.
I was just gonna make tappers, but I don't have to. So.
I mean, there's enough now in the chest.
Love the
if you
hoodie.
want.
Thank you. Yes, it's my Pikachu onesie, and I become Kimonochu for the sake of stream. They redeemed
And
it
now
for
we sleep
St. Jude's.
so we can
Yes.
go get our shit.
Yes.
Why did I pick it up?
And then we could sleep again.
Oh, I need
Then we
2
can
copper.
sleep again.
Is there no copper
yeah.
now?
I have 12 copper.
Do we each
I
have
think I
gifts
took
for our
all the
people
copper
too?
bars.
I just took them all because I had to hurry for a cleanse.
Mono,
There you go.
Yes,
do you have your gift for Sebastian?
I do.
Oh, that's
Okay,
tomorrow,
make sure
right?
you
I have
have it
my holly
No,
or
no, no.
summer.
So it's not tomorrow. So
Yeah.
remember, we are going to Robin's and Marnie's tomorrow so we can get our animals.
Yes.
And then the
Ah.
following day is Christmas, which is when we need our gifts. That's why I was making sure that we had our gifts for that day.
And you're sure I need summer spangle for?
Yeah.
It's in my pocket.
Cool.
Yes. Yes.
I have it
Yeah,
in my
thank you,
pocket
Matt
as
Shuffle.
well.
I have a hot pepper for Shane in my pocket, so we'll be okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
So we
good.
good?
I'm good.
Okay, then we
So
sleep.
we got our gift, so we can sleep. We can go get our animals and sleep again.
I'm gonna sleep in Momo's bed.
Yeah, come join me.
Hers
Cuddle
is
up.
pretty and blue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
mine
one I
is
got
too.
from the
One of those.
from Clint's.
Oh, Clint
Or
gave it?
from the mayor. From the mayor, sorry.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah,
The tickets. Oh, we sold a dino egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine as well.
We got a bunch of them now, so I
Mm.
still kept a bunch in the trunk, but oh jeez, coughing.
Alright.
Allergies.
I'm gonna go stand outside
Queen of
Robin's house.
Sauce rerun, so if you didn't get it, spirits are in good humor. Don't know why I'm checking the weather report.
Probably got it.
Oh, I got mail. I'm
Nope,
really
I
becoming
didn't.
part
Child
of it.
soup.
Looking close. 500 gold.
Ta-da.
Maybe you can buy some more seeds.
So what happens now?
9
What are we
a.m..
doing?
We're getting our pet.
You want to see if we have any gold things?
Yes. Oh.
I was gonna leave Mona to do that.
Oh.
Gold
yeah.
things
She
what?
can do something.
Oh,
Gold
she's
things what?
doing the
Gold-
pets, right?
gold
Or
veggies. Yeah.
Aren't you doing the chickens?
Well, I'm gonna go get the pet bowl. And then after that, I was gonna go talk
Yes.
to Marnie. So you could talk, well,
Yeah.
like you can talk to
Secret
Marnie
friend.
or your doggo. I'm gonna
Ah.
go talk to Robin first so I can get my shit. I was just gonna stalk her and stand outside her door until she opened.
Do we all have to do the gold veggie thing or something?
Well, I mean,
No, just
it's
one.
not individual. It adds up between all of us.
Okay.
So if you just wanted to check.
There's a lot we can harvest, so if you want to.
Yeah.
I already got one.
It's gotta count as
Got some
vegetable,
new
I think.
ideas to sleep on.
Oh, yeah, it does count as a vegetable, yes.
All the animals. Okay. Do this. And that doesn't really
Flowers
help.
don't count, but...
That sucks. That was it, I think.
And we only need one more.
Well, we have enough days left, though.
Yeah.
It's 5
We
days
have until
left.
Sunday, yeah. Okay. Oh, Robin's open!
They all did, find it.
Let's go! Oh, wait, the fruit! The fruit! Does fruit count?
You have to have fruit?
No, it's vegetable, I think.
Oh.
Farm building, right? Yes.
Let's see. Alright, let's go. And Kimono's Discord if anyone wants to chill. Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Nice
be
to,
over there
guys.
in a little while, I'm sure.
This
I'll join you in a bit.
Discord. Guys, there you go.
My pet ball.
Feel free to join and hang
Oh,
out.
can you move mine a bit to the right? Is that possible?
I think so.
Hi. Do you have any milk?
Paint
Yes, you
building.
do. Hi. Do you have any wool?
It won't let me move anything.
You do.
I think it has to be Mono.
Adopt pets! Whoa! Rain, I'm sorry. That's not happening soon.
What?
40 fucking K.
What?
Holy shit!
Well, you got enough to get one.
Oh,
There's
are they
60K. And there's
What?
a purple turtle that's 5 million. No,
A
that's
turtle?
50K.
I need to come see these pets in the pet shop.
500,000. 500,000.
Oh my god.
They're so expensive.
I should have came with so I could look.
Well, that's where all our excitement went. Great.
What do you mean? You can get at least one, right?
If you got, we'll need money
Are
for
you
seeds,
willing?
though. Well, we could. Should we?
You have
If
40K,
you
go
want
ahead
a
and get
dog,
one.
yeah, you can go for it.
You get a doggy?
Get your
Go
doggy.
for it. We waited all this for you to get a doggo.
True.
It's your
I
Christmas
get
present.
a German Shepherd or this one. I think I had
I'll
this
make the
one
money
before.
back.
No, I had that one before.
This
This
little
looks so
shepherd looks so
cute. It
Now
does
I'm
look
curious
cute.
though.
Alright,
I want
let's
to
do
go
the
look at
shepherd.
all the animals now so I can show stream. I'm gonna go to.
So
Or is she gonna disappear?
Zumbo. What to call it? Chabelle. Isabella. What the fuck are these
I
names?
wanna go see these pets. Can somebody give Nick Duffy a shout out, please?
No.
He's a German Shepherd, so
Thank you so much.
you
Paper
know.
Mike.
Ditzy.
When is Nick Duffy
I
gonna
could
do more
change it,
art
right?
streams?
I think
Art
so.
streams. Oh my gosh, phones, yeah. Humans.
I'll go look at him.
Yes.
Go see him.
Oh, we're so poor now.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
okay.
look. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
under
that's
shop or
fine.
something, or where are the animals at?
Uh,
Is it Robin
we
or Marty?
go to Marnie.
Oh, I went to
Where
the
is he?
wrong person. Oh my
Where is
god.
he?
Where is he? Where is he hiding?
Is he in my
I went
house?
to the wrong person.
Oh, he could be inside.
I wanted to see, and I
Hiding behind the amethyst.
He's so cute.
It's adorable.
He is adorable.
Come, Fluffy. Come.
I'm like
I love that
totally
name,
at the
Ditzy.
wrong places at the wrong
Huh?
times.
I love that you named him Ditzy. Great.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Alright.
I'm just my
So you
own
guys
world.
want to do Christmas still, or you want to stop?
We can stop at Christmas and we'll open up at Christmas when we get in.
Da-da.
I think that would be fun when we come back.
That
Next
we
time
do
we play.
Christmas? Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
It'll be Christmas Day when we come back. We could do that. And
2 weeks. Okay.
adopt pets.
I can wait.
Oh, orange kitty, gray kitty. Oh, the little pink one looks like Mew.
There's
A
a
black
pink one.
kitty. Oh my god, Rain, they got puddles.
I know. Yeah, I was gonna
Puppy.
want to name it Puddles.
With floppy ears, with pointy ears, with adorable round ears. Oh,
Yeah, we got the
bandana around its neck. Oh, cute doggos.
Momo
I
got
didn't
the
see the-
shepherd with the pointy ear.
Purple turtle. Is that like a
The purple
shiny
turtle.
turtle because of that price? It's like
Yeah, I know.
500,000. Okay,
The
we're gonna.
turtles
I'm
are
getting a
fucking
purple
expensive.
turtle in my unlimited cash game on Friday. We're getting the purple.
Fuck yeah. We have to make sure that we have high friendship with the kitty, which I think we could probably just cheat that.
Hugs.
Oh, yeah, probably.
If Mona will
That's
allow herself
great.
to cheat love with the cat.
What? I don't think
And
we
the
have to
other one.
cheat. I don't think we have to cheat.
I
And
don't
cheat
know.
love.
We'll have to find out Friday.
So cute. Thanks for the beep. Alright, I gotta go find this doggo. I gotta go see which dog she picked.
It's in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Doggo's in the house.
Cheers.
There's Momo's house. Go see what doggo she got. Aww, German Shepherd. He's so
Kitties.
cute. Adorable. There's Momo's dog. What'd you name it?
Ditzy.
Cowboy Poncho.
I didn't have because it's Deutsch, German Shepherd, Ditz. I don't know.
It's so good.
Why do I have snails?
Let's see. And
Where do we put snails?
So we did our harvesting for today, right?
I don't feel like doing that right now, so we're gonna do this. And this and this. Okay. And then
Wait, there's flowers in there?
Why are the flowers in there?
I don't know.
because
I
I
didn't
put
put
them in
them
there.
there.
Oh, like the dandelion. I put all the forest.
Because some
ones
of
in
the
there.
flowers are food. Some flowers are food, yeah.
What do we do with snails?
I was selling them.
I forgot to go to Pierre's again. Well, next time I'm getting the flowers for My man.
Well, we can't. Well, Pierre's closed today anyway, and he's gonna be closed tomorrow because it's Christmas tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
everybody
you
are
have to
closed
wait until the day
tomorrow.
after Christmas.
Yep, everybody's
Well,
gonna
it's
be
still Christmas in
closed.
the Netherlands,
They're
so
gonna mess you up.
we have 2 days of Christmas here.
Oh, that's cool.
25th
I
and
want 2 days
26th.
of
It's
Christmas.
on the second day of Christmas. Second day of Christmas.
Yeah.
My true love gave to me.
Oh,
Actually, technically, the 12 days came from Yule.
let's see. Okay, are we sleeping? What are we doing?
Yes, we're sleeping, so then we can end the day.
Trying to join you. Oh wait, I'm joining my dog.
Sleep.
Where's my dog?
Oh,
I
he
hear you.
disappeared now. Oh, he's by the TV.
I'm in the bed. No, you're on the floor. That's so expensive. That's mean though.
Seed
40K.
maker.
That is.
Iridium sprinkler.
Nice.
Quality fertilizer.
What the
Look, it's
fuck?
Santa crossing this thing.
Hmm? What?
Santa crosses
See.
the screen.
Oh yeah, Tina's
Oh.
going across the screen.
Cute.
Selling, yeah.
Cute. Da, 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 da.
Okay. Now we can quit the game.
Yep.
Before we get sidetracked with all kinds of other things.
I'm not even gonna go look at anything. I'm gonna quit right
Oh
here.
shit.
Oh, he got the cutscene with Emily. I think she's
Oh.
letting you use her sewing machine.
I heard a
Emily.
dog.
Oh,
I
heard
wanted to go
dog.
outside to see the dog, but yeah. Oh, it's because I found a cloth in
Oh,
the.
yeah.
Okay,
Sewing
cool.
machine.
Alright.
The shoe. Hey, you can use that.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it next time and see this all over again.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for looking. And thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you had a chill, relaxing Sunday and enjoyed stream. Let's see who is live. Ta-da-da. Gotta find a victim to pass all this raid love to. Let's see. Scroll through my list here. Too bad there's nobody playing whatchamacallit. Stardew on my list. You're special. Ah! Don't do that to me! You got me.
Got you good.
Alright, let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna pick somebody. We got this. I think we'll pick this one. And pass the raid love back, because alright guys, we are going to raid good old Migsty. So use your emotes if you got them. If you don't, you can use these. There you go. Copy pasta. So yeah, you can use that link and jump over to Mix's stream in advance if you wish. And thank you all for being here. Yeah. What cookies all riot? We need to cook guys.
Almost
16 viewers. Let's go. Thank you again. Thank you all. Stay awesome. And I will catch you guys next stream on the flip side. Oh, gotta find my buttons. All right. Bye, y'all. Wrong button.